Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to tradertv.live. It's Monday, March 16th, after the big run-up we saw into the close on Friday. U.S. markets back to the downside, or North American markets, I should say, back to the downside in a big way this morning. All three major U.S. indexes, futures, sitting at that limit down level once again, so 5%. But if you're following along with any of the index related ETFs, the Qs or the SPY, obviously pointing to a much larger move to the downside off the bat this morning. The SPY right now looking at about 9.5% to the downside. Same story with the Qs. The move to the downside started yesterday in an emergency move on Sunday. The U.S. Federal Reserve announced it will embark on a massive monetary stimulus campaign to curb slower economic growth because of the coronavirus outbreak, obviously. They also cut their overnight rate to near zero for the first time since 1971, the lowest rates we've seen since 2015, when the Fed rate sat at just 0.25%. As far as individual names this morning, a lot of the virus-related stocks gapping to the upside. Some with individual news. We'll get to those coming up in a few seconds. With Mallinckrodt, big move to the downside. They lost a lawsuit, or had a lawsuit go against them with regards to rebates on one of their products. They owe a whole bunch of money. We'll talk about it. Not a lot in the way of economic data this morning. Coming up on Wednesday, we'll get a reading on U.S. retail sales. Speaking of retail sales, a huge miss for Chinese retail sales out on Sunday. Let's go over to the desk and talk to the guys this morning. I mean, we're set for another historic day here. We'll head over to the desk. Here's Neil and Sean.
Yeah, good morning. I mean, you said it there. Can we even use a word like missed or disappointing numbers when you talk about those retail sales in China? I mean, 20%. You got to come up with a different adjective than that.
I mean, what do we think?
Yeah.
I mean, what were we expecting?
Unemployment 6.2. It's obviously intense, and I think people are afraid that that's going to come over here and bleed into Europe and North America as well, and that's why you're seeing the sell-off. It's going to be all about the circuit breaker.
Yeah, I mean, we don't even think it's going to open up. You may open up, get a few ticks back and forth.
Yeah, I think we should.
But then, do we hold positions during the breaker? I mean, look, we've circuit broke 2 or 3 times last week, maybe twice off the open. It looks like we'll probably do it again today. Yep. We're limit down, obviously down 4.5%, touching that 5% mark, freezing futures, and now we'll come back today and we'll wait to see, guys. I mean, it's 27 minutes right now. Welcome to YouTube Live. We welcome to Facebook Live. We're here. We're going to be here as long as the building stays open.
Yeah, as long as these markets stay open.
We'll be here.
And we do have a Valeria, our chat maestro, is going to be here. And I want to, in just one quick second, we're going to throw to Valeria, but you guys have to see the numbers from Friday. This is just the reality.
Me and Neil at the top.
Massive numbers here. Out of the Amex, 570,000 from a trader trading a few markets in North America, 450. 330 on the Amex, 300,000 on the Amex, 290, 270, 260, just massive numbers. When you go by market,
too fast, they can't see it.
No, scrolling back up here, you go by market, you're going to see almost everything was in the U.S. markets. You do see someone making 36,000 in Canada. You see some of it in Europe. Yeah. But massive swings in that run-up in the last hour of the day.
$570,000 US dollars.
570.
Somebody made on the Amex.
$500,000, baby.
We can talk about that after. We're going to throw to Valeria right now. Valeria, what's up?
Thanks, guys. Hello, everyone, and welcome to tradertv.live. Well, guys, I know that lots of you are now quarantined, so that's the perfect time for joining for our channel. We're going to trade for you. We're going to entertain you. So hit the thumbs up and subscribe for our show. A lot of interesting news, analysis, and live trading. Further. Also, guys, we are now on Facebook. If for any reason you don't have YouTube channel but you wanna hit the like for us, go to our Facebook page, and if you have friends who doesn't have YouTube, also send them links for our Facebook page. Back to traders. See you later, guys.
If you don't have Facebook, you should be able to have YouTube.
Yeah,
you definitely don't have YouTube, then maybe you don't have internet. because
that would be a potential problem.
We are free today, and we are free falling. I did want to talk about that play there on the Amex.
Great song, by the way.
Before free falling. Okay, here we go. This is what we're talking about here. This is where we think everyone made the money. If you can come to my screen, this is GDX, of course, the gold miners ETF. Something happened there in the last 30 minutes on Friday where obviously someone got flushed out, and you're going to see a big, huge print that came right at the end of the day. But from $20 down to $16.50 or so, basically in a straight line. And if you had identified that early enough, no surprise there. We listed as Amex, it's NYSE American. You're going to see that's a big flush. And then something like a 34 or 5 million share print goes off right there at 4 o'clock. So some sort of trading right at the bell, big trades on the way down. We don't need to tell you about that, but that's where I believe, anyways, most of that money got made. And good for whoever did it, man. I mean, look, these are scary times.
20% down on an instrument like that in that kind of time.
Positions are getting liquidated, baby.
More than halfway back. Crazy.
And they weren't even wrong, because it's still down 11%.
No, exactly.
So now we're down at the liquidation bottom there. So like lumber liquidators right now, maybe a lot of stock are on sale. I don't know what you think, Brendan, but this is going to be a juicy one.
Yeah, definitely conditions we're not used to or really haven't even seen before. But let's check out some markets here, guys, before we get into some individual names. Stuart Shoddy coming up in a couple seconds here from the CSE. We'll talk about some Canadian listed stocks. But first, let's have a look at APAC region markets here. Big time moves to the downside once again. Look at Australia there leading the way, 11% to the downside. Both Hong Kong and Shanghai significantly lower as well once again. Again, historically bad Chinese economic numbers coming out overnight, both on the retail sales end of things and factory orders numbers also historically bad. So big time moves into negative territory there. Let's go over to Europe and see how things are shaping up. Another big move to the downside here right across the board. Most of these markets now trading near 2012 levels. So France, Italy, and Spain there, double-digit percent declines. Germany almost at that 10% level as well. It's not good, guys, starting the week. Let's see North America here as we head towards the open, about 25 minutes to go. S&P still, all three major U.S. markets sitting at that limit down level still. TSX 5% as well. Brazil open trading 7% to the downside. You can see the free fall in Bitcoin continuing today, another 12%. Crude oil 8%, trading below $30 a barrel this morning. Gold down another 3% as well, which is pretty shocking to see when you consider gold typically a safe haven, continuing its move to the downside as well. Our good friend Stuart Shoddy standing by here from the CSE this morning. We're going to head over and check in with him and see how things are shaping up for Canadian markets or Canadian stocks on the CSE this morning. Good morning, Stuart.
Good morning, Brandon. How's it going?
Busy morning once again. Obviously, it's been an exciting week, at least a week and a half at least. How are things been over on the CSE, both with individual listed companies and the market itself? I mean, volatility is definitely here.
Yeah, absolutely. And they say timing is everything. And I think last time I was on your show was after, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, and it was after the initial sell-off. And now I'm back on. And if any of you thought that you smelt a rat with Friday afternoon's run up in equity markets, you were probably right based on what the US futures have done this morning. But certainly from a CSE perspective, we managing the volatility quite well. The coronavirus scare has meant that we've kind of got staff shifts going on at the office now to make sure that there's always operational staff to support the markets. And other than that, obviously we've had a few companies list last week, and obviously the timing couldn't have been any worse, but that's how the markets are. You never know what's going to happen. We're managing the volatility well though, and obviously a very scary time to be an investor, but I'm sure, as I saw previously on as I saw a couple of minutes ago on your show, lots of opportunity for day traders. Yeah,
definitely. Let's talk a little bit about individual opportunities when it comes to CSE listed names. Has there been an area of the market that has seen increased volume along with obviously the volatility?
Yeah, so, it's a tough one. I was looking at some symbols, trying to find something that you guys could look at, maybe aside from the normal sort of well-traded CSE symbols. And one that has come to light is a COVID-19 play. big increase in volume, probably about before last week. This symbol would have been very difficult to trade for day traders. A lot of volume came in, and that is AGN. So that's Algeron Pharmaceuticals. And, they've got a drug called Infenprodil, which I believe they've applied with the FDA for clinical trials, and it's meant to help with acute lung infections and acute lung damage. So obviously that would be great for anyone who contracts the virus, and I'm not sure if that's going to be expedited based on what's going on with COVID-19 and the current statistics that are going on. But that's certainly something that you guys can look at. Whether, what happens with that and where it goes, I'm not certain, but it's a potential play. On top of that, I've got another one, which again, another spike, and this one is called Champignon Brands, SHRM. And again, spike in volume. This one also was fairly untradeable from a day trader perspective before it announced news that it had purchased a mushroom growing facility. So they are trying to go into medical mushroom products. So that's probably the next frontier after cannabis, but it could be interesting. Other than that, when it comes to our symbols, we are on the lower priced symbol side. We are designated as a venture exchange. So when markets get volatile like this, liquidity normally pulls from the market. So unless you are a small cap or a micro cap specialist, you might have problems trading some of the symbols that we have.
Fantastic, fantastic, Stuart. Thank you for the couple of symbols there for our guys to have a look at throughout the session this morning. Before we let you go, I don't want to keep you too long, but before we let you go, I want to ask you just in regards to any kind of trading halts that may occur on the larger exchange this morning, how does the CSE participate in those halts, if at all?
So we do participate in those halts. When the circuit breakers are breached, all the markets generally actually are on a call with IROC, which is the Canadian regulatory Canadian agency that regulates the markets, and they call a trading halt as soon as those circuit breakers are breached. So it happened last week, and we did participate in that. So again, it's as you would know, and as you mentioned, it's very likely to happen this morning off the open. So I'm not sure if markets open, a couple trades go off, and then the circuit breakers are breached. So yeah, we're ready for it, and good luck to all of you guys who are actually taking the risks out there.
Great stuff. Thank you, Stuart Shoddy from the CSE. We'll touch base with you in the coming days and weeks, and interesting times. Best of luck today.
Yeah, thanks very much, and good luck to you as well.
There you go, guys. Stuart Shoddy from the CSE. Obviously, all kinds of opportunities on all exchanges, regardless of where you're looking. Can we bring in Neil and Sean here, guys, real quick? I'll throw you on the spot. Just wanted to talk a little bit about those limit down levels as we open today. There is a good chance, guys, that we do open, in a halt. And if that is the case, we might get that 15-minute trading halt right out of the gate this morning and not even open.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there, Brennan. I mean,
that is
it's 251 on the ES. If you just have a quick look here, it would take an absolute miracle for us to get back up to that. And last time we noticed, we did trade for 3 or 4 minutes before that 15-minute halt.
Yeah.
So I mean,
we're both looking at the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to have it right away or if we're going to have it in the same 3 or 4 minutes. Either way, you have to make a judgment call as to whether you want to be in position during that halt. And if the answer is no, then you might not be trading off of the open. And that's the reality. If you're comfortable with something, throw it in there expecting that you're going to see that 15-minute halt. And then if we hit that 13, you could see both of those potentially happen very quickly.
Yeah, I just put that evil face there. Yeah, Neil's looking at the SPYs. Good question, Brent. I have the Qs up, so both are basically limit down if they were to open right now, because the Qs is the NASDAQ 100. It's down 9 1/4. You're going to see that right here. So that's supposed to halt, obviously, at 7%. We'll see that's going to happen. Yeah. Your SPY is the S&P. So again, if you guys want to look at that, we call that up as well. Neil just had it up. But the spiders is the S&P 500. So the reason why we're looking at these ETFs is because the contract themselves are already limit down.
Exactly,
so right now, the only thing you can really look at are ETFs. A lot of names, we'll get to those in a second, but a lot of names right now down 10, 15%. Some of the best names. We saw that huge run up, obviously, on Friday afternoon. I hope a lot of you guys were able to make money on that. But now everything is given all the way back. Like I was celebrating. JP Morgan was over 100. I bought it at 88. It's 88 again. So yeah, there's lots of opportunities if you're a bull. But do you step in now? I mean, I'm not buying anything else, period, until we get some reduction in coronavirus cases, sort of in the West world. Italy's still reporting more.
Yeah,
I see Netherlands.
We're still in the upswing here.
Like Netherlands only had 1,100 cases, now 1,400. So they basically report a 30% jump in cases in one day. That's probably going to happen here in Ontario, let alone the United States. And you can see, just as a side thing, because that's what I like to do. All the grocery stores in my neighborhood, or anyways, were repacked. So I don't know if that's true of everybody out there. Maybe you guys could type it in the YouTube channel what it was looking like. But at least from that side of things, it seems that there's enough toilet paper to go around and canned foods here in Toronto. But I'm not sure in your neck of the woods.
I think Ontario's doing pretty well when it comes to supply. That's at least what I've seen. It was the same thing.
Drop it in the chat. Let us know.
Yeah, let us know how you guys are doing, and definitely be safe. And keep in mind, look, a lot of you guys are home away from work. Let your friends know, because the market's what's open right now, and it's going to be active. It's going to be wild. We'll keep you tuned with what's going on for sure.
Oh, Acid Tooth. Nothing in. I guess that's South Carolina. Yikes. All right, Myrtle Beach, what's up? Let's throw it back over to Brendan.
Yeah, I was at Costco on the weekend, guys, and there was more, of anything that you wanted for everyone. So, I mean, it was fully restocked. Everybody was buying whatever they wanted, and everything seemed fine. So, yeah, as far as that is concerned, I think we're good. Let's start with Boeing here, guys. We obviously have to talk about the virus stocks. We'll get to that. I want to talk about energy stocks as well. Oil, obviously, down another 9% today. Boeing, though, the jet maker, placed on credit watch negative by Fitch, the rating agency. So a big move down here for BA this morning. When I sat down, this was 13%. We were all the way down here at 146, but another day to the downside here for Boeing, guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting to the point where what do you even say
throw your hands
about
up.
Some of these things? You're exactly right, Sean. You throw your hands up. Boeing under 150 right now. A lot of what the Fed did was supposed to, get the ease of what's going on in commercial paper. You already saw Boeing draw down, other companies having to do the same thing. This is one of those it is what it is situations. I mean, they're down 13%. Basically everything is down anywhere from 9 to 15%, and a lot of the big names here. And it's not that you're going to have obvious key levels to come in, but when we do trade, you're going to have to pick some names that you're the most comfortable in if you're looking for shorts, whether you like retail, whether you like the airlines, whether you like a depressed name like a Boeing. Those could be places where you can play. I don't know that levels are going to matter so much as momentum today. When people just start running for the exits, there's not going to be a ton of liquidity. So trade the names that you're comfortable with the amount of liquidity you see there, and then you should be fine.
Yeah, I see some people in the chat talking about Costco and whatnot. And I think that's a great place to hide your money right now, as is Walmart. But I mean, to try to pick any of these bottoms seems nuts. We talked about Boeing here, and actually, you know what, guys? We're going to be hitting some of these graphics, and here it comes right down for you. There's there. We're kind of like a little bit of, some of our. I was going to say a name who uses also very similar graphics, but we don't need to drop that. But I will do something about a bear market is in the house, and I should use the salmon shirt one. But here's AAL, guys, 17% straight to the downside. Brendan, this is just another airlines. We may or may not get to them, but there's so many names that are just getting taken to the woodshed today. I'm going to be looking at AAL, Boeing as well. So I don't know, Brendan, seems crazy to me.
Yeah, move on AAL. In part, there was news on American this morning. They said they're going to cut 75% of their international flights that are scheduled through to May 6th. So big haircut there for AAL as well. Let's go to the virus stocks first here, guys. OPGN, the first one I want to talk about. They were among the league gainers, both on the percentage side and volume side in the pre-market this morning. The company announced it's set to launch a real-time, what it's calling a real-time testing kit for COVID-19. Now, when they say real time, they mean within hours. So you can get the results within hours. It's not something you just do on the spot, but obviously a significant improvement. When this started, I think people were waiting weeks to get results as far as these testing kits go. So much better hours now, 70% here for OPGN.
Yeah, this one actually got a very similar bump in price a couple of weeks ago. You'll see it here through, from 150 through that almost $5 mark. Basically the same thing happening here. It had come all the way back and now you're getting a second bounce. So, ultimately, there's going to be a few names at least that are the upside, and they're all going to be like this. I'm looking at that 450 level. 4 even makes sense to me. It's gradually selling off just a little bit in the pre-market. I have to think that at least some of that is anybody that has the long could be taking some profits out in anticipation of the fact that the market's going to close right off of the open, and then you get that haul. So you definitely have to watch out for that. Oh my goodness!
I'm putting this in. I'm doing this right now.
Yeah.
Because, right
wow.
now we can talk all about.
Yeah. Look at the SPY.
Look at it. You come to my chart here. Yeah. This Spiders just dropped down pretty dramatically there. So no cheering today. You can see 241. We tried to get back up. That's what we were talking about. Remember, the SPY was only down 10 and change the last time we checked it out. Now you drop down to that 11%. Look, it's 7% halt. So that's going to halt. And then the next level,
235.
Unfortunately, is right there, 13%. So you're going to probably get the double halt. Do we go down to the 20% today? Not sure, but I just wanted to bring that up because right now, Donald Trump cannot be a happy man. They've ripped up, obviously, the Fed rates there, and now, look, they still have a lot of bullets left in the chamber, but if you keep firing them off and they don't work, does that not set more panic into the market as the futures now? I can't do it, Brendan. I mean, we just bounced up another $1.50, so I don't know. We put the market up in smoke, and then now it comes right back.
And the funny thing is, you look at the SPY right now. It's just like, imagine the amount of money that it takes to move it $1 or so.
Go to Neil's screen, guys.
I could literally punch in myself and move it a couple of bucks if I wanted.
Yeah.
Like, that's how ridiculous
level
it
there is 240. Other than that, you have like 1,000 shares. You could wipe that level up $1. So, Brendan, give us another name, my friend.
240 there on the SPY. That's in correlation to 2,400, obviously, on the ES, guys. That goes back to the December 2018 December lows that we hit. So big time levels for both the SPY and the ES coming up here at 9:30 this morning. I wanted to talk about one on the other end of the spectrum, guys, BNTX. A little bit higher priced, but they announced this morning a new collaboration to develop a coronavirus vaccine. This is the first time this one's been up here on this news. So BNTX, a $50 stock, gapping back essentially to near highs here, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it is a higher price one, but it does gap through those previous highs. So a little bit more strength there. I'd be watching out for that previous high at 49. Like we said, I mean, one of those things you can do if you're not accustomed to these, you've been trading most of these names when they're $4 or $5, just in your head, hey, just pretend that you shave off a zero as long as you have enough buying power to be able to play in a name like this and say, okay, you have a $5 level here, you have a $4.90, which corresponds to $49. That being said, the volume on this is quite low. It's only 70,000 shares so far in the pre-market. So when it comes to trading going into a halt, a name which is already this illiquid, up 50%, is going to be extremely dangerous to jump into. You look at that. You look at the last ones. We're looking at ATYU is another one in addition to that OPGN, and those have done good volume. Those ones are going to have liquidity to be able to get in out of position of a few thousand shares if you happen to get into it. And BNTX, I don't see anything that indicates that will be the case. This one, off of a halt, you could be talking about 10-15% moves in the blink of an eye.
I did want to talk quickly about Gilead. We did look at that one. I personally think Gilead or J&J will be the ones that will eventually get some sort of a vaccine. They've been talking about it, although, however, they're still talking about it being months away. So we say WTF to that, and hopefully that gets fixed soon. But I like Gilead. Look, only down 4.6%. Again, we talked about a few safe havens there, Costco, Walmart, and I mean, if we call up the daily chart, it's not like it's going to look any better for Gilead, but it's not horrible. I mean, you get back in February, they're around $69. They're $67, you can see today. So we're not horribly away here. If you want to park some money in a potential runner here, I think some of these pharma companies, especially ones that are in the vaccine business, could get this thing done. Gilead, of course, their biggest vaccine, I believe, I'm not sure, I think it's called Keytruda or something, and that's for HIV, and they've actually pretty much, thank God, wiped that out, or if you do have it, there's a lot of,
it's a game changer
for that one. So maybe Gilead's there, but only 5 minutes, Brendan, let's go.
Yeah, I was actually reading this morning that human trials on a vaccine starting in Seattle today. They're still trying, 6 months, 6 to 8 months down the road as far as the timeline. But I believe it was Gilead, human trials starting on a vaccine in Seattle as of today. So a little bit of progress on that front as well. I want to talk about just a heads up, guys. If the market is going to open limit down down and equities actually don't open, I feel like I'm just going to stay at the desk here and we'll just continue to discuss some individual names to kind of pass the time here as we try and figure out what the market is going to do once we do get trading today. Let's go to some energy names first off. Crude down, better part of 8% here off the bat this morning. Oxy, obviously one that we were talking about and trading a lot last week, following suit. A bigger move even. 21% to the downside here, but I mean, look at the ramp up that we got along with the market into the close on Friday.
Yeah, interesting thing about Oxy, you want to find something which actually hasn't hit the fresh lows. Well, there's one. We're going to jump over here, and you're going to see we closed over at $14, but we're at around that $9 area a few sessions ago. We could have an 11 break, and again, of course, we could halt right off the open as well. But with oil now down below that $30 mark,
yeah, 28. Actually,
20. Yeah, like exactly there, Sean. I mean, if you're looking at some of these energy names, you spot that weakness. Like I said, we do have a little bit of room to the bottom here on Oxy. It was down at that 950 mark, so it wouldn't surprise me if you got an opportunity to short this one. And almost everything is going to be on lows where you don't have any levels you can take out. This is going to give you one.
I see here Italy has approved 25 billion euros to help the economy. So I don't know, that's at least a step in the right direction, I would assume here. And Mnuchin saying that the banking system can handle this. Well, I sure as hell hope they can, because
they better
if they cannot.
The whole point after 08 was that they're supposed to be able to handle it. So.
Yeah, now we have to actually start declaring things like this. But yeah, look, Oxy's going to be one. All the pipelines are going to continue to be under pressure, man. Valero, Oxy, Whiting, Petroleum. We'll look at, we've been absolutely destroying XOM lately, guys. So we'll look to that. But I'm not overly excited to start. I'm excited to get the day started. I just know that it's going to halt.
Halts.
And then do we actually hold a position into a halt? We had Jeff Mendel from OTC Markets on last week, and they halted as well. And so there's going to be, although we have access right now to over 60 different markets here at Day Trade the World, you do never know, what circuit breakers are going to hit. So please, if you're in a position off the open, just be aware that you may have to hold that for 15 minutes. But I do want everybody, head over, YouTube, hit those likes if you're watching us on Facebook, subscribe, make sure you're back to us, because we're here all day today and tomorrow and the next day. They're going to have to basically somehow get us away from these desks, and I guess that would be from a federal standpoint. We may be arrested if we come into work. That'd be the only way that we don't come. So hit those like buttons and everything. Make sure that you're watching us every single day. Brendan, does the best job out of all three of us, by far, and he's going to be breaking the news to us
any big news
as these stocks go through. So watch out for that as we go. Even if the market's halted, stay tuned. Keep the show on, guys.
Yeah, guys, I want to. Emma and I, our director Emma and I, were discussing putting us in boxes so we can stay here and continue to do the show throughout this mess. Just wanted to mention WPX here. If you're looking for a lower priced energy stock, WPX, another one gapping to the downside 20%, a little bit thinly traded, but around that 350 area. Let's discuss Apple. You know what? Let's go to Disney, guys. Disney with news. Good news for Neil on Disney today. They're going to make Frozen 2 available on Disney Plus, Neil, 3 months ahead of schedule because of all of this.
Yeah, well, where was
US only?
Where was it on? Where was it this weekend when I had to watch the first one again for like the 27th time?
That's it?
No, I'm definitely happy to see that.
27 times.
The difference between Disney and Netflix is, Netflix only gets more business right now, whereas Disney, they're shutting theme parks, they've halted production, so it's a bit of a different story for them. This is obviously good news for people that own Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference for the stock in this situation.
You're shutting down theme parks. You're shutting down cruise
They're going to hurt for a couple of quarters here. That's just the reality. They're going to get crushed. You're going to see some ridiculous numbers that come out of them, and it's hard to predict. So one of the things we were talking about is nobody really knows what happens when businesses lose like these types of numbers for a few months. How do you price that in the long term? It's a very difficult thing for a lot of people to do, and I think that's why you see some of the risk off coming in here. Disney, $93, like, wow.
It's a great value. Yeah, no, look, Disney's going to be the one. People are going to be kicking themselves in a year from now, but you can't predict the bottom.
That's what I'm saying. But
I mean,
like,
how
look,
low
there's
does
a lot of
things
these. There's
go?
a lot of these.
Frozen 2 released in tomorrow, the 17th here in Canada. Okay, 10 seconds until the bell. We have Mr. Rob on the bell today. He does everything around here. Thank you for all the support, Rob, and thanks for coming in on a day like today. But the market's about to open in 3, 2,
and
1. Hit that, and the market is now open. And
immediate halt.
Okay.
I for one am shocked. It's an outrage.
Come over to my screen. I'll show you guys what it looks like here.
No.
On Disney.
No.
Might as well. Yeah, there we go. So no quotes moving. Here's Disney right here. We'll flip it over. There's Gilead.
How could this have
There's
happened?
Apple. Yeah.
Humanity.
If you're in position, I don't know how, unless you got in there pre-market.
I can tell you we didn't halt over here. I'm looking at that
let's
AG.
just trade another market.
No, I'm looking at this AGN. I know Stuart came in and talked about them possibly having a connection, coronavirus
Is Toronto
related.
closed? I don't know.
I see trades coming off here, but
yeah,
there's
Toronto
almost
must be
no
closed as
liquidity
well.
on the CSE here. I'm seeing a quote. I'm not seeing any trades.
Yeah, no.
Obviously, it looks like we're going to be halted
So
in
TSX
TSX as well.
We'll hit the confetti, but it's not a celebration. I don't see any TD Bank. Holy shit. TD Bank is down. Roll those dice, man. 16% right now before the halt. Yeah, that's a problem. We'll check on the weed space here in Canada.
Sean, crude is already trading down to 28.50. I mean, it's absolutely cratering here.
I guess they don't
We're just at
halt
29.90. NYMEX is not close here. 28.50 on the bid with with offer following it down. Huge offer following us down here in the oil contract. So 28.50, big time move right off the bat. NYMEX probably the only game in town. I don't know what else is going to be open. Europe probably is open right now.
Well,
I'm
Europe
going to
is
assume
open, I would
also
think.
trading as well. So you are seeing some activity, but we have a 15-minute halt that we're going to be in now in North American equities. Brendan.
Yeah, guys, we'll continue to discuss some stocks here. Obviously, 15 minutes to go before we get trading again. Just saw a story saying Norwegian Air to cancel 85% of international flights until May. NWC for Norwegian Air, if you want to have a look at that one. I'll continue to watch our good pal Reuters icon here and see all the headlines coming in over here about our good friend, the coronavirus. Guys.
Yeah. I just took a position.
Look,
in
guys,
Europe.
it's a market-wide halt on all equities in North America. If you are paying attention in the U.S., NYMEX is still trading. That's why I was looking at the crude contract. Europe is still open. If you want to look at some of those names, I know Sean just jumped into Daimler. You can look in Milan.
Oh, your boy Aqua there. Is Nike suspended?
No, of course it's suspended.
Why don't you give us an update on that? Okay, I just went in again. This is the advantage, guys. Oh, I like that red. Yeah, the market is halted, guys. We go up in smoke today in the market, and yeah, maybe I'll go get my own coffee in a couple minutes. But I went short Daimler right now, breaking here. This is that move down from 22.90. My stop is going to be back here at 22.90. Right now, I'm short Daimler Chrysler, DAIE.DE. So right there, you got an ability here. Europe is still open for now. So I'll just, again, small amount of risk here. Let's see what happens. Hopefully I can hold this until the second halt. We did have some traders behind us again. I know they were panning the floor. There's not too many of them in here again today because of travel restrictions.
Yeah, we obviously have to take some measures.
But Brendan has something quickly for us.
Yeah, just in that group, Sean, as far as automakers go, a little bit of a story out here because of coronavirus. Japan and Chinese automakers shifting some of their production to Mexican plants, apparently, because of the coronavirus. So we were talking about some of these companies starting to reopen their plants and get production going again, including Tesla, but looks like some now shifting production over to Mexico, guys.
Yeah.
Sean's looking at Daimler down 11.5%. I'm looking at a BMW. This is
I
in
just went over
Germany
to one
as
random
well.
one there.
And there's a few names that certainly you can look at that you at least could be familiar with if you have the ability here. And under $40 for BMW. I remember trading this. And when you hop to a daily chart, I do remember actually taking trades at $80 on this name. Just last year. And you can see the destruction cut in half in just the last 3 or 4 months here. So obviously you have some carnage. We do know that the halt is 15 minutes.
I mean, just
so we're looking
ready,
at
guys.
9:45 open. Should be some fireworks when it does open up. And remember that 13% band, that's going to be on the ES at 23.51. So alert to that.
23.51. Okay. Yeah, Aqua. I mean, what's up with Microsoft? I mean. Speechless a little bit. You can come over to my screen right here, but Microsoft down to 139. The low we got, I think it was a Thursday night when basically it was all out panic, was, I believe, and I'm going to call up a daily chart here, 135. There it is right there. Yeah, 137, 138 is where we got to in the open market. I bet about 135 in the pre-market on that Thursday evening. I guess it was post-market. So right now you're down at these levels again, and we continue to be frozen out. So you can't, Aqua, you can't do anything. My Daimler right now, we are short right now 58. So we take the bid now, and it's a 4-cent winner. I mean, whatever, but we'll just air horn it out just to let you guys know Europe still is trading. So there it is. There's a nice little 10-cent winner right there. So if you did join me in Europe, you could dance this one off a little bit, but Europe right now to the downside, we are short Daimler. You guys can see right here, guys, short Daimler Chrysler. I just went over there and looked at something that was multinational that would have some pull downs from this, especially with oil coming down, and Daimler right now for the win. At least I can be 1 for 1 today if not we're able to make any other trades.
I'm sure we will, but Brennan, what do you got for us?
Another one joining the list, guys, as far as countries canceling flights. This is going to be Egypt halting all flights as of Thursday in an effort to stem the coronavirus, guys.
Egypt to halt flights, yeah. We are having a little bit of a problem hearing Brendan because we're so far from him, but that's okay. We'll try our best.
We also know some questions coming from all over the place there. I know people asking about like Bitcoin, will they stay red? I mean, look, it's been falling, obviously.
Bitcoin?
Some people were thinking you have a, flight to safety and all that nonsense. That's not been the case whatsoever.
Nothing.
Exactly. If gold's not bouncing,
everybody wants
why would
cash,
you expect?
man.
People, cash is king. People want to be able to be ready to invest. It looks like when the bottom comes in, and that's not been holding in crypto. That's not been holding in gold. You saw what happened.
I mean, here's the daily gold chart,
You see what's going on. Just looking here, crude bouncing a little bit. So we got back up to $29 a barrel right now. So at least a little bit to the upside.
Traders in the back talking about a halt again. Here's the gold prices, guys. This is what we're talking about, gold. Yeah, there's some traders walking around a little bit there. Oh, I see us on the screens there, too. Good job. Some guys watching us there. That's good. What I want to tell about here was gold, exactly. Many people, it used to be a flight to safety, like you mentioned it. If we can go to my screen right now, you'll see gold coming to the south side right now. Gold used to be like, I follow a lot of people on Twitter. They're all saying, get into gold, get into gold. Well, if you did that, you may be a little bit disappointed as the bears.
A little bit disappointed.
Well, you know what? If you're in equity, though, it's actually held up a little bit more than equity. We're only down 4% today.
But people doing that were expecting safe haven,
some kind of a
hold value. Yeah. I mean, come on. Like at that point, like it's just not what it is. This is not 1985. This is not 1990. It's not the same. It's not the same.
And the problem with Bitcoin is that it's not regulated, right?
Exactly.
So if people aren't flighting to gold, which is somewhat regulated. I don't know if there's any gold in Fort Knox anymore, but that's another show. We will have a look, obviously, Bitcoin. You can trade, here's the Bitcoin ETF, basically, guys. GBTC, here's a daily chart on that as well. Of course, it's still showing GLD. Here we go, GBTC. This is the Bitcoin ETF that's tracked over there on the OTC market. Shout out to Jeff Mendel. 1350 is where we were at just a week. Let's call a month ago, actually, about 4 weeks ago. Now you're down here to 5 and change. So that's dropped almost in a third. And it's a nasty, nasty ride as my Daimler just continues to be ho-humming here flat. So
yeah, I mean, among the things that are down, if you look at some of these ETFs, including like the best rated corporate debt, LQD here, I mean, we're going to be basically on those lows. It was a ridiculous flush we had last week. That's going to be looking to break that bottom on the reopen of the halt. That's obviously a big move, but I believe Brendan has a little something for us again. What do you got, bud?
A little bit of news from the Canadian energy sector, guys. This is regarding Vermilion Energy, trades in Toronto, Calgary-based company, cutting its 2020 capital budget by $80 million to $100 million. So as oil prices continue to fall, you're going to see this, I think, just kind of accelerate all of these energy companies cutting their spending going forward because of this, guys.
Thanks a lot there, Brandon.
Let's keep going. Welcome, everybody. I'm just getting a note there. We're getting a lot of viewers on Facebook.
Yeah, exactly.
Today.
Welcome in.
Hit that like button. Here we go. Okay, we got to start trading something, Neil. We should head over to Europe because if they want trades, they're going to get trades. So Daimler's a good one to trade over there. Maybe if we can find some symbols in Paris or whatever that's popping off. Brendan, if there's anything over there, that'd be fantastic. We can look at a bunch of different ones. CA, Carrefour over there in Paris as well. We can have a look at that, $12.50. We might as well keep going, guys. We have a good amount of viewership today. If Paris is still open, let's keep doing this one. There's Air France we can trade. And again, Germany's loaded with companies. Milan should be open as well. We know they restricted short
you have to
selling.
watch out in Milan and Spain over there because you restrict short selling on basically all of the big names there. But you do, like Sean said, Germany and Paris are the two biggest markets there.
Renault.
BAP, BNP Paribas, certainly BNP is going to be one you can look at as well. So there are some banks that you can have exposures to. If you look over at Paris, I know you're talking about Carrefour there. I think that's one of those. If you want to play the broad market, Carrefour seems like a good name.
Right, and I know Brendan just ran over there. We're going to find some more names for you guys. But RNO, I see that on the chat one. Wow, down 20% today. RNO, looking mighty spicy here. What is this level? 1323 here. Let's take a short breaking that. Look, when this U.S. market gets opened up, we are going to crash again. So I'm pretty confident in a lot of these positions that we do have on. We should be over in some Italian banks if we have any ideas about those. ATL over here in Milan as well.
Well, I mean,
it's been so long since I traded.
I like in Air France because at least I have the ability to short over there. Whereas in Milan, if I can't short, you can forget it. But I'm not taking longs in the U.S. halt over there in Milan.
Right.
I do like this $4 even
long
area. If you're having a look here at Air France, it looks like it's going to be a decent place to play. And look, it's only a €4 name, but there's usually ample liquidity. This actually isn't too bad considering what I saw in some of the other markets. So in front of that 4 even, let's have a quick look if we can't play this one to the short side. Again, Milan, not for me because I'm not trying to go long.
Yeah, no. Well, you know what, though? Off of the last couple of halts, though, guys, the market has rallied. Obviously, today I came in thinking we're going to hit all 3 circuit breakers, so my opinion is the same as Neil's. What's up, Brendan?
We'll have a look at some European stocks, guys. ISP, just wanted to mention, you were talking about the short selling restrictions over in Milan, but ISP, one of the bigger, as far as volume goes on a day, trading stocks in Milan, also, guys, in the financial space.
ISP, okay.
Yeah, ISP, we do know that name, but I'm looking over here, like I said,
San Paulo.
Air France, we just started jumping into position. And again, like levels don't necessarily matter, but when you do have consolidation to be able to short, and what a fantastic look that is. You're going to see some traders on the floor, some probably discussing the positions that they're going to try to work into, or certainly having a game plan for in the next 3 minutes or so. When we do open up in the U.S. here, I'll have one position on over in Europe.
ISP is halted, it looks like. I don't know if Milan is halted right now because we got cross bids. We don't have any prints in the last little bit, so we'll check on that. ISP definitely halted right now. Bid 143, look what we're talking about. Thanks for the name, Brendan. I mean, he's giving us these names that are moving around. 240 million shares today. Obviously, this is halted. Let's check out Race in Milan
looking
as
at
well.
Ferrari. That's trading.
Looks like it's trading. So it looks like Race only down 4% today. So that's another name. That's Ferrari. They shut down 2 of their plants that I know of. I heard that this morning watching our local news. They talked about that. Lamborghini also shutting down their plants. Tesla, GM. This is why I go short Daimler right now.
Watch this one if it broke 117.25 or so. That looks pretty interesting over here on Race, but I don't know what our restrictions are.
117.25.
But Brendan, what do you got, bud?
I didn't see this headline yet, guys, but when you're speaking about Spain, coronavirus, Spain reporting 2,000 new COVID-19 cases in 24 hours. Guys, that's a big number.
How many did they have before? Did it say that?
Yeah, I mean, what kind of an increase are we looking at there?
I mean, they weren't at 10,000. I know that because I know Italy was.
Exactly.
Yeah, they were the biggest problem there. So Spain probably, that seems like that's like probably a 30 or 40% increase. But, not to be all doomsday, at least they're getting tested. Donald Trump came out on the weekend, or not on the weekend, on Friday afternoon there, that sparked what now seems like ages ago. That was a 2,000-point rally there in the market when they talked about having more tests available, free tests, more funding, yada.
The drive-through testing.
Oh my God! Aqua was saying Spain was
having fun with there.
Shy of 4,000.
Wow.
So now they doubled in one day.
Wow. Just having a quick
There we
look
go.
at
We're gonna open
CA.
up in a minute.
We're going to open up in just about a minute.
I'm
We're
still
having a
short
look at
Daimler.
that CA. We grabbed in that Air France. We'll have those positions going into the U.S. Open. If we open down
put a low
in the U.S.
bid.
and immediately start flushing here, you know, you might want to take advantage. I'm just thinking you throw bids in for some
did.
profit,
I did.
and you might get flushed out like right away. You might see some sell action that you can take advantage of. So I just want to be able to do that. I was looking at CA, but we're just going to stick with that Air France and see if that one gets any kind of a push to the downside here. And again, working up that $4 level.
Obviously, Brendan just coming in that was Italy today. So Spain did not have double their cases, but it'll be soon. Let's go back to Brendan. He'll explain it.
And no, I posted that number, 24,750 is Italy. The 2,000 new cases is definitely in Spain. The total number in Spain, though, I'll get that for you guys.
Oh, wow. Okay. We are going to open up here. So let's. We still have that Daimler. My stop order is well above. I could lose 40 cents on this one or make 40 cents. So we'll see. Let's go over to my favorite stock, Softy here. Should open right now, and there it is, 138. It is trading right now, guys. So the market's open.
Market is open. Here we are. Let's go. You want to talk about some of those retailers? It's all about getting short, baby.
I'm taking short right now and missed it. So there we go. So now I'm
some names not open. I just look at Nike is not open. You do have a staggered open on some of these names. Under Armour is not open as well, but UAL, we are open on the airlines here, guys. So we just opened up 35. It looks like to me. I'm going to get out of that European position. Let's forget about that. Not important. We're talking about 2,400 immediately to the downside here.
Yeah. Let's wait to see what does happen here on this kind of a break. We are short Microsoft right now, 137.50. The spread DAX or anybody looking at this one is like 80 cents at some time. So we're going to go short here and not hold on to this one for very much longer. We know that it went limit the other way last time. So I'm going to average into this one only once or twice. But right now we are short Microsoft.
Just having a quick look at some other names. I know we were talking about relative strength. Forget about it. I mean, Zoom, we're only down 2%. It's at a 105 somehow, but now starting to come down itself. I'm looking at 23.80 on the ES. What? 23.80 on
Didn't
the
we
ES,
just break?
7,100. I mean, we're very, very close to that limit down, guys. SPY 239 about to break to the downside. I only have one short on. We're just looking at that short in UAL, so we're going to go with that. I wanted to be short one of the retailers, but they hadn't even opened up, Sean.
Right, okay. So, yeah, we don't really know what we're doing right now. As well, we know what we're doing, but we don't know what the market is doing right now. We're going to see.
Right, we're about to hit that limit down, guys.
Are we? Okay.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to crash that in any second. Now, we just bounced off it
short
one
Microsoft
time.
Really
So watch out. It's just that now in the money, United Airlines starting to come downside for us. Zoom, forget about it. I don't think I can get into that one.
My
It's going to go with down. UAL. Let's look at it here.
Are we going to limit down? I don't know.
I feel like
is ripping up here against me.
Yeah, this is insane. I mean, I grabbed these 34.50s here. We're about to crack $34. Pre-market low was 33. So hopefully this is a big flush, but I don't know if we're going to halt on this again. It seems like we should be there.
It seems like we should be halting right now. And so
I got to take some profit off here. We'll grab 70 pennies just because I want to take half off in case of this halt, which I'm feeling like should have happened, but we bounced up to 23.80 now. So there's a bit of a bounce happening in the market.
Yeah, this is good news. We'll take anything that's a positive thing here. I'm not going to hold Microsoft. Look, we're averaging into this one. We do have a short 138.37 right now at Microsoft. I take my last short rate here.
Wow, we're $1.20 in the money now on UAL. I mean, UAL continuing to go down. Apple, I'm looking here. That just bounced about $3 off the bottom. You know
what?
We're
not going to halt. Maybe we are not going to halt.
I got to take it with the market coming, trying to bounce up here. I'll just get out of UAL. You'll see the execution there. It seems a little bit crazy to me that I would not grab those profits, and ultimately you could come down more. But look at the flush off the open here. It just sat there doing nothing, allowing you to get in the 34.50 range and then grab that short as some of these names are starting to really rebound. When I say really rebound, not really that much. It just came off of that halt level and immediately bounced. I think that's what triggered it. We got down to that 23.60 over there on the ES, and then, Apple bounced off 240. I know you're looking at Microsoft. I'm not sure what price that bounced at.
Microsoft right now 138.37. I did have a nice little out or nice little top print here at almost 140, our best short right now. So Microsoft coming to the downside now. We got a nice little winner, 138.37. It's not a winner yet, but I'm hoping that we can be able to cash out as a softie soon. We are short. My out's going to be 140.15, so we're going to wait to see. Sorry, 140.50, 140.50 on softie. Let's just see if it gets there.
Brendan, what do you got, bud?
That name we were talking about as far as virus-related stocks go in the pre-market, guys, OPGN still holding up here nicely as well. 325 to 340, a bit of a consolidation starting to push back to the upside as well, guys.
Thank you very much. And finally, some of these retailers are going to be opening up here. I mean, I was waiting a bit for Nike. I just did see it come in. Ultimately, I'll jump into a bit of a short position, though I did like Under Armour as well. We're not in halt territory right now, so we are bouncing off of that. So the question is, what do you like to the long side?
Yeah, we're almost out of our Daimler,
you look at some of those names that were going to be trading heavily because of the relation to coronavirus. One of them was at OPGN. It's done 5 million shares, so watch out for this one. I did have upsides at that 380, but that the sell-off, taking profits going into a halt, could also be a play.
Is there anything that's ripping?
So I'm
like
sort of willing to short
now?
this one in front of some of those levels. 375, I'm looking at 350, looks like a bit of a level as well.
Yeah, so right now my softy position, we'll talk about it, is 138.40. So yeah, 138.37 right now we're short. We're going to wait to see if it gets above this top here, 140.50. If not, we're holding this thing all the way to the bank, hopefully. We'll see if that one can come through. I did want to check out on a staple stock that we talked about earlier, which was Walmart. 103 and change, down 9%. It's starting to head to the south side now again. Here goes my softy, finally looking like it's back into the money, Neil.
Yeah, and we just jumped into, we still have that Nike, but we just jumped into that OPGN as well. We're going to be trading this one. It's up that 70%, but you're seeing it really start to level off here. So grab some shares in front of this 350 area, and we're going to take a bit of a shot here on this name. And again, you do have some consolidation within about a 40 cent band, so it's a very volatile name. Watch the 370 break, which for me is a trigger to the long side.
Yeah, we got, guys, we're rocking and rolling here, guys. Join us every single day. We're going to keep doing this for you. My Microsoft is still not moving. I'm kind of waiting to see. It looks like this halt won't happen for a second time. We are already bouncing now. You can see the bottom here. This chart's going to look a little silly, but we are now bouncing off that bottom. So let's see what can happen here. Microsoft still chilling out, guys. We're still going to wait for that 140 blow off top. I don't know what to tell you. Brendan, what's up, bud?
Another one moving higher, guys. J&J just broke the pre-market high there, 126, moving to the upside. There was a little bit of a story last week talking about how one of their HIV treatments could be a possible solution to COVID-19. They're now saying there's no evidence whatsoever that there was any success there, guys.
Okay, and there's my Gilead. I went right over to that. Thanks for that. I think J&J or Gilead, any of these companies, obviously could be the one. So we'll wait to see if that is possible. Gilead right now, that bottom is 65 and change. I think I'll go long now. Use 65 as an out.
Yeah, and I got this Nike in front of this level here. 67 even is going to be my kill zone.
Even,
kill zone, but we're also looking at that break on OPGN, so we reverse to the long side there. But here comes that 67 even. We're screaming upside in this name. So you know what? You try the short. This one might not work out if we break that. We'll have to take it off.
Just an update. We did get out of some of our Microsoft there at 139 even. So our average price now 138.64. Taking a bath on it, but not really at all. We're just bouncing around here 30, 40 pennies. I don't know. The market looks like we may teeter back down. I think this is a good time to maybe short the market overall, but you never do know. We're going to go over to the Qs and take a look over there, guys.
Yeah, and just had that little break. We talked about that 370. You try the short, immediately comes to the other way here. OPGN now up 85%. You're seeing it try to test towards the high end. Usually that inverse relationship holds true. You can get a run to that top, and that's 420. You get some FOMO buying in some of these names. So we'll try this one out here. Still trying to hold 67.
There goes
I don't think it's going to
guys.
happen at all. Gilead bouncing. Nice little bounce there.
Yeah, nice
I just want to jump over to
55 pennies right now, guys.
Nice move there. I mean, Apple is actually booming just up to 250.
$10
move
market's booming.
to the upside.
I hate saying that because it doesn't. The market's actually not booming. But
wow.
Here goes Gilead, guys. Come over here. We finally get a little bit of a catapult here. Whoa, there it goes. Gilead. We talked about that 65.50. We go long. That's where we're long. It's 73 pennies in the money right now. Let's take off half because again we're a little bit jumpy right now. We could get up to 66.60. I'm going to take some off for a clean dollar here. 66.50 if we can get it. That's Gilead. I think hopefully this name continues to go, but we're going to pair some off here as we have no idea.
Brendan, what do you got for us, buddy?
We're talking about some travel restrictions in the U.S. last week, guys. Chile just coming out saying that they were going to close all of their borders to any travelers starting on Wednesday, guys.
Okay, Wednesday.
Okay, so there's another piece of news that someone talking about Costco in there. Just having a quick look. That one's trying to bounce down below 280, so it got a run as well, but it's actually trading a little bit lower as a couple of names start to slide off just a little bit here. One of them is going to be OPGN, which we're going to have to take out on a 350 break, but I can tell you coming back in just a little bit was Nike holding that level, at least for the time being up that 67 area, so we'll have a quick look at that as well. Boom! As there we go to the upside.
Yeah, hit the air horn. Microsoft, we get out that 140.35 there, and then reversed the long. So here we go. This is $1.40 in the money right now on Microsoft. 78 cents, a dollar now, $1.70, $1.80, $1.90. Microsoft, guys, we are long 140.50 right now. It's at 142.50. So yeah, I don't know if the bulls are back right now, but we will bring them back, because here we go. $2 now in the money on Microsoft. So yeah, our first trade goes up in smoke, but we get a little bit back right now.
Yeah, the market really trying to bounce back here. At Costco finally looking like it wants to participate.
Like that
so
Costco,
let's see
guys.
if we can't pick this one up. I mean, the spread on Costco right now, I'm looking at, you know, a dollar spreads on Costco. So tricky to be able to get into this one. I do just jump in and manage to get something at 282.50. We just bounced to 284. So like I said, dollar spread. We're able to get the midpoint in there. So a bit of a fortunate play. Nike breaks 100, so that's going to flush down a toilet. But here comes Costco up to that 286. Maybe we'll take some profit off in front of it. Like I said, already a couple of bucks in the money on this Costco trade. Let's go to the upside.
Let's go. Yeah, $2.50 right now on Microsoft. So we hit the swish as this keeps going. Let's roll this market, guys. $1.30 on Gilead. Right now on Microsoft, let's go.
I guess a bit of a long there. All bottom to top. Costco just goes
stocks.
282.50 to 285 here.
Let's go, Softy.
Do we take out 286? I mean, here we go to the upside, baby.
Yeah, let's go, Softy, guys. I'm going to put on my position board just so you guys can see what we have on. We'll throw that on right now. Here we go. Microsoft, this is our long right down here. 139.03. Long Microsoft, long Gilead, 65.55. These are multiple dollars in the money, guys. You know, this market rallies. I don't know, maybe I get out right now. Softy, what a great long. We're still hitting that one. I hope you guys like that. And there's our Gilead. Bang!
Punching through 288 is Costco. We just took some out at 287.99. That'll be about a $5 win there. Look, you see the market start to come up. I just found something which hadn't budged yet, because liquidity is low, spreads are open, everyone's sort of hanging back, not sure what to do. You punch one of these to the long side. Fortunately, it was at least in a name that I thought would be relatively strong. This is why you have to have at least a little bit of preparation, know what you like to the upside. I'm going to hang on to these last few shares here. You see what happens. I mean, the market bounces off that halt level and starts going up. You had to find a bit of a long to jump into. We got out of that Nike short, which burned us.
Guys, this is
and jump into the long in a name that we like, Costco. There, Sean jumps immediately to Microsoft. This is what it's all about. Gilead, which was also mentioned as a potential strong name. These are the three that we ended up trading.
Right, 142.50. We're going to get out of Microsoft if it does break below 142.50, and we will celebrate this. So we're going to put a stop order in, guys. Right now, it's all about risk management. If you're not managing your risk,
I mean, trailing stops you can use as well.
Because well, that's exactly it. Yeah, trailing stops or stops. 142.50. We'll get out of that one if it wants to come back down. We are not going to lose our profits on this one. Check out Gilead. That one, bang! We got out for a nice little dollar winner. Now we're holding on to two. So let's get going as we can watch this market skyrocket up here, guys.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a 285 stop for the last shares I've got on in Costco. I think seems reasonable for me. We'll lock in at least a couple of dollars of profit. I mean, we get $5 on this name, which is a fantastic move to the upside. I do want to jump to, we talked about Disney off the bat, of course. I do want to jump to that big spike as well from 90, but only gets up to 93.60. So I think some relative weakness in that name. The market slides back down. I'm looking at 24.60. So we had a nice bounce, but it's really 100 handles in this market.
Yeah. Doesn't seem like
it doesn't even seem like it's that much.
No, it doesn't. We did get out of our Microsoft trade there, so we will review that. And there it is, bang. Microsoft, we thought was going to be a car crash, but guess what? Opposite times. Let's start ringing out. Hey, where's some cash? Where's some cash? There's some cash. We'll throw some cash around. Nice little trade there on Softy.
And the other name that we talked about being strong, and I wish I had jumped over to this one potentially. Look at what happened in Netflix. Pick Costco quickly. Netflix with a jump as well. So you could have got $13 off of that trade. Bigger move than Costco. So we'll go with rejection, not quickly finding this name here. But we are trying to get a second leg to the upside on this little on the NASDAQ here. And obviously you had the halt, so you're going to see us trying to broach that 7,300 mark. I'm hanging on to 282.50 long in Costco right now. We'll see if we can get that one up to 290. That'd be a great little move. We saw us turn around to 289.
Sure, why not? Yeah, I mean, who knows where these stocks are going, guys, right now. We are trying our best to find you guys some winners, and look at that nice little drop off on Microsoft. So we go right there, and we just think about, you know, how low these stocks can eventually go. If Microsoft breaks 144.25, giddy up. We go long again, guys, if that does come through. And guess what? Yeah, the viruses Gilead right now, guys, $2 in the money. We still hold this as we go upside. We hit the bullseye on that name, guys. Gilead to the upside now.
And we talk about risk. One thing that I didn't do here with a trailing stop is I'm not going to use this key level. You look at this level, 286 on Costco. I'm not using that for my trail. You trail it lower. I don't want it to trip where everyone thinks it's going to be a key level. It bounces just below that 286. Would have triggered me if I didn't have a wider stop. Now we're headed back up to that 289. So we're back in the money, about $5.50 on this one, hoping to march up to that 290 where I'd like to get the target out there. So Costco to the long side working out like gangbusters. Is the market leveling just a little bit? When I just looked, we talked about Disney. If we turn around here, I kind of look. I hate to say it. I like a Disney short. I like a Disney short. If we turn around in the market, anything around that $93 mark.
Don't hate to say you like Disney short. That's okay.
Well, they finally gave me Frozen 2. I want to be nice to them.
Not yet. Tomorrow.
Okay. You're right.
Yeah. Slow down the horses there. My kids are watching, Neil. Don't tell them that there's no Frozen 2 yet. But okay.
Sorry, kids.
Disney, that was a great bottom, $90. Already? We talked about the value on that one. I did want to check in Walmart quickly. Wow, yeah, Walmart, nice value there. Only down 5% now.
That's another one. Look,
another great.
Again, we talked about strong types of names there, and this is what you wanted to do. You wanted to jump over them as quickly as possible. I know you guys, some of you certainly like a Tesla. This could be a place to short if we turn around. We're talking about 470 top there, didn't breach. 440 we're trading in the pre-market. So if I get, and when we're about to, it looks like it could happen, trail on that Costco. I'm looking over at Tesla. I'm looking over at Disney. 460 break on Tesla maybe. Disney, we're talking about that 93 price area.
I mean, we could do whatever, but right now the most important thing that we get to, I think, is happening now over at the big screen with Brendan. These markets are scary, guys.
Scary indeed. Let's have a look at some scary numbers, if you will. Big time negativity right across the board here. You can see, guys, just want to point out a few at the bottom here. Halted and have remained halted down in South America. So if there's no quotes on this side, that's why. If you have a look at the S&P, though, 9.7% still in negative territory. The Dow, more than 10%, 10.25% still for the Dow. The NASDAQ, about 9.5%. You can see the Russell, small caps doing a little bit better right now, 5.75% to the downside. The TSX, 10.5% here in Toronto to the downside. BOVESPA, this one just got absolutely decimated over the past week or so. Another 12.5% to the downside for the BOVESPA down in Brazil. It's all about energy names leading to the downside here in Toronto. This is Suncor, 14%, guys, in negative territory. We bounced off 18 down there at the bottom, coming back to about 18.5. Liquidity on some of these names, I've never seen it so thin before, especially on Suncor. BTE, smaller price stock. You can trade more shares on this one, but be careful. It's moving around a little bit more than it usually does as well. Halted along with the market here. We're back below that 45 cents. 45 cents on BTE, very important. The cannabis names, possible long opportunity here, guys. Some of the cannabis names are bouncing. This is weed, held $13 when trading resumed, straight up above 14. So some strength coming from the cannabis names. Otherwise, though, pretty negative for most of these stocks and most of the markets right across the board. Back over to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Brendan. And turning a bit back to the downside here, and then I saw that break happen in Disney. We talked about that 93, so we're going to slide into a short. Let's see what happens on a retrace. You can give this one to the high. We got to 94.26. There's 94 even was the pre-market top, so you can have a stop area in that 25-cent range. Certainly, in this consolidation, could be worth a bit of an add. But if we roll over here, might be a situation where the only way to get more shares if we roll over in the market is to add on the way down. And that's averaging up instead of averaging down. And as I look at 92.50, I mean, you immediately jump in the money 40-50 cents on some of these moves because liquidity is just, it's like a banana republic out here for liquidity. You look at the bid here, it's just absolutely nothing. So we grab this Disney to the short side.
Banana republic.
I was it's that old joke that I see on Twitter where they're like the different levels of liquidity in the market.
Look at you all about Twitter. Good for you.
Yeah, it is what it is. So it's one of those little jokes. We're going to go
Twitter,
in it.
By the way, Neil,
follow
myself,
us along.
Brendan, the show.
We'll be tweeting out live.
Like button.
Throw your questions in there.
Do it all.
Let us know what you guys are looking at here. I know, right here I'm looking at that 92.50 on Disney. If we can take this one out, we'll probably want to add to our position a little bit.
I did want to talk right now quickly about Gilead here. I'm just to wrap this trade up here. We're going to get out if it breaks down below 67. If not, let's see if we get even higher up here as the day goes on. We do like this name. We've talked about why. We're going to hold it. Great long down here. Management out there. Now let's hold half of it. We're going to get out if we break down below this little level here. 67 and change. That's Gilead for you. I am also short Alibaba right now.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit of a turnaround, like I did mention, happening in the market. You want to jump to crude. That topped out at just under $30. And I know a name that we've been paying a close attention to has been an XOM that just crossed. There we go. We just loaded, just crossed back down 10% on the session. You can see it sliding to the downside here. So I'm looking at that 34 level. I'm looking at right now, if we hold lower in the oil futures, it could be a nice place to jump in, guys. So having a very, very quick look at this one in front of 34. We'll see if we can't grab a short. But Disney now 70 cents in the money as I'm going over here trying to work a position into some XOM in front of this little 34.30 top.
Yeah, great job there. Yeah, what's this? SS, Ron, is a short sell. So there you go. If you guys are joining us for right now, all of our trades will show up below. And great question by Ron there. What is an SS? So right now I am SS, short sold BABA. So we're short Alibaba right here on what I thought broke, 179.16.
John, speaking of short SS, short sell restriction on something like a Disney, which I'm not necessarily used to in my mind. So when I went to cross down to add at 92.50, I'm forgetting I got to fade into position on some of these. So unfortunately, unable to add. You'll see me try to take a few shares off here, a third off for a clean. Clean dollar move there on the first little bit, as there goes 92. We did get some shares in XOM to the short side, 33.81. So short Disney. Here comes the rollover on the futures that we talked about. Here come those futures.
Here goes Alibaba, guys. You know, again, put some risk on, which we did. Short through 179.28. Bang! There you see the out. You're going to see the last trade right there. Bought 178.80. Here goes Alibaba. This is 80 cents now in the money. 179.20. You roll the. I mean, does anybody know what this show's from? There you go. Wheel of Fortune. 170. Bye-bye, Alibaba. Here we go. 80 cents, 90 cents right now in the money. The market rolling over a little bit, but Alibaba much more than the market rate here. Down $1 in the money right now for Alibaba. Hit the fireworks. There you go, guys. There you go.
There you go. And to the downside as well. We're still holding off of 92 on Disney, so we're going to hang on to these 93s to the short side that we do have. We are approaching an upside move, though. However, XOM trying to make a move. I don't see oil going anywhere, so I talked about the level that we're working with. I'm looking at this level here, 34.50, so we're going to build into this position. If oil's not going to budge up, I'm going to take a shot shorting this. The market's trying to bounce, but so far failing.
Yeah, so just to give you guys an update there, I take out some more BABA right here for 67 pennies. There may not be hockey, but we're hitting slap shots anyway, so there you go. The market continues to go here, and we just continue to rock this thing as we go. Right now, a big day for me as well, so we rein in the money here. Doesn't matter. I mean, I feel bad. My RRSPs or 401k, depending on where you are, is in trouble. But right now, as far as trading goes,
what's you gonna do, right? I
mean, let's. You know what? There may, like we said, there's the hockey, and we will also continue to hopefully, like this Alibaba trade, continue to hit the home runs. I don't want to get out. We're out right now, 40% of this. 1, 2, 3 outs, 4 outs down there. So we'll hold the rest as we look to see if we could get back down to doomsday levels of 176 and change on Alibaba. Seems to be stalling out right now a little bit.
Yeah, Alex, I did notice that Costco moving back down. It got to that 286. I got stopped out on that last little bit of our shares when the 285 triggered me. VIX over 76. Brendan, what do you got for us?
Just watching European markets, guys. No bounce really along with the U.S. Sadly, still down significantly in Europe. But reading a story, EU leaders set to meet today to discuss a coordinated effort to try and combat some of the coronavirus impact on the economy, guys.
All right. Well, maybe they should.
And here comes XOM. We talked about that level, so we work into it here around that 34. 34 is basically our price, 33.98. So if we can't slide down, we held 29.50, couldn't get up to $30 a barrel there. So just working with 93 short Disney's, we're hanging, basically holding pattern here in the futures. But we work into short on XOM, ExxonMobil at 34 even. Let's see if we can't run this down to that 33, 60-ish bottom that we just made.
Yeah. Okay. I'm canceling some of my orders here. Make sure, guys, I have some stop orders out there, for example. But we're gonna double check those. One of our favorite times.
Thank you very
Valeria
much.
with the coffees, and do you mind taking my?
Thank you so much, Valeria. We're reloaded. I'm also looking at reloads at 34.30 in XOM if I can get it up there. But a couple of short positions on right now is, we're basically, I've been short biased all morning with the exception of liking that Costco trade. No, Sean liking a couple of specific names, and that's the key.
Yeah, Baba, Gilead, and Microsoft, the only three names that we've traded so far. And Alibaba, there we go. We take off a little bit more as it bounces back up to 179.
Yeah,
so again, that's just a 20 penny winner there. We're going to hold the rest. I mean, I just didn't want to get, so now we're out of half of our trade now on Alibaba, and we'll look to see as this market, like we just mentioned,
Netflix is
starting
holding
to rally up a little bit. Guys.
Netflix is holding up pretty well here. Look at it off the top here. 315 goes. Let's see if we can't look at Netflix maybe to the upside. I'm going to go over to Disney and move a stop to break even.
Yeah,
we took the dollar. Now that we're rallying, I want to make sure we lock in some profits on that one. So I'm going to move my stop to break even like I just mentioned. We'll cancel our other one, but watch out. Looking at this level here, Netflix, you get that little pullback. You get the overall weak market. I saw some things really start to come in there. Netflix did not participate. Held above 310, so relative strength abound in this one. We're looking at a 315 break to the upside.
I mean, do we want to take Tesla long here? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of names right now. So my Alibaba is going to get out right now for a dollar loser, most likely, as we break through 180 now. There it goes. We out of Alibaba. So yeah, that one we get a little slaughtered there because we tried to get a little more than we, looked at there on Alibaba. So that name comes out, in and out, just as fast as it's in, it's out right there. So Alibaba now out of that trade, and we'll look to make another one for you guys. That was a slight loser, not huge, because we were able to take out half down here. That's why, guys, risk management always very key, or else there's going to be a lot of this when you look back at your blotter or your summary. Your risk positions could be bad.
Exactly, and very, very close to getting the stop on break even on Disney, but it holds. Just held decently at that 93, and again, you get to slide to a level that you're comfortable with. It's my entry point. There was the floodgates that opened up. Just looking at Macy's here, another name which I'm not exactly bullish on, to say the least. It's having a lot of trouble bouncing off the bottom here. I was shorting this at $8 on Friday. Now you're looking at a $6.75 level. Like, really? Is that what we're working with here? And there's a big move to the upside there on XOM. Crazy move as we bounce towards that $3 mark, and crazy stop trigger that just happened there.
253.50
XOM with a huge break to the upside, then flush right back down. Look at this move that just happened.
253, 60 here on Apple. We're going to go short, or go long, sorry, as it's going to hopefully break through the top here. We're just running this stock right now. Apple down 9%. Look, guys, we were as low as 240. We know a lot of you guys love Apple. And 240 up to 251. Basically $20 straight up early, and then now it's Chop Central. So we'll wait to see if we can't make some magic happen here with Apple. We are ready with some upgrades and downgrades. Not sure it's going to matter today, but let's go over and see what we can trade.
Yeah, I'm sort of with you there, but let's go to the big screen with Brennan.
Give us some, Brennan.
Yeah, as you said, obviously not going to matter when you get such an outside market move. Some of these upgrades and downgrades not going to matter too much, but a lot of these are going to be pretty obvious anyways. If we have a look at the screen here, you can have a look at Costco to the upside and Enbridge to the upside. Those are the only two. 11.73% for Enbridge down in the U.S. Costco 6.7% to the downside as well. eBay here 6.7% to the downside regardless of the upgrade. And Caterpillar, American Airlines, energy names on the downside, AT&T as well for some strange reason, but Costco moving back to the upside. Wanted to show you this chart, guys. We held 284 here on Costco, already above 286 after the halt. So this thing has been very, very wild, very thinly traded this morning, but have a look at Costco. Obviously the huge run up we saw into the close on Friday completely erased and then some before trading started this morning. American Airlines to the downside, $12 holding right now as support, but just barely, guys, on AAL. Back to you.
Okay, Costco, that's a great game. Long Alibaba right now breaking through 181. This one obviously very strong. I know you have some strong names.
we gave a reversal level there on XOM. We're talking about that 34.50. It broke all the way to 65. Ends up being our price long on that 34.50 break. So out of the short into the long. So we'll make back for now what we lost short side, but we need to break 35 for it to really turn into a bigger win here. As the market really can't get going. We did get up to close to, and I'm looking over here, 29.95. So it looks like we have a shot to make a nice move on oil here. If we break $30, I'm going to be hanging on to this long.
Yeah, I like the XOM long. We traded that a lot in the last couple of weeks, obviously with oil moving around. Alibaba, so we're just going to wait here. We do still have a small short, 179.17. That's $1 out, but again, we only have 15% of that initial position. It's the only position I have on right now. I did want to look at JP Morgan. Again, another very popular name out there in the marketplace. I know a lot of you guys are holding this one. Holy crap, it got as low as 84. I mean, this is the thing. On these panic, man, in the morning, Wow,
Yeah, it
there's
gets
some
a little
great,
crazy.
There's some great
It gets a little
opportunities.
crazy.
Okay, breaking through 88, we'll take a Morgan Stanley short now. And what we're doing right now is I'm just looking at tops and bottoms here, and I don't really want to play in the middle. I'd rather play on an extreme break. So $88 looks like we're going to break
That
right
chart
now.
looks basically the same thing as Netflix here, at 310 at that little bottom on Netflix. So you're seeing a lot of names that have a fantastic little bounce to
it's
the
gonna
upside.
break
And now you have a
hopefully right
tight
here, we'll
consolidation range here as XOM moves back up. It just failed back down to that 34.50. And again, I talked about that level. That's what we're sort of looking at here, and then bounces off it rather heavily. Going to retest that 35. There's some selling at that price.
Oh, yeah, you're right, Neil. Same thing just happened to me. There we go. We go short in JP Morgan. We did have, remember, SSR. If you're new to us, here's some more education coming. Short sale restricted. So sometimes you're going to have to wait for the level to break and then sit on the offer and get filled, which is just what happened to me on JP Morgan there. We're short 87.90 right now. I'm going to give this one room, Neil. I don't see why not. Back up here at least to this level, 89.50. So we'll look for about $1.50 of a hit on this one. Not a hit, hopefully it doesn't happen, but worth of range. And we're going to get out. Look, if we can come back down here to VWAP, which is about 87.20, we're coming down there right now. Nice little winner right now for JP Morgan, but we do want more as we go. But we do have another note from Brendan.
A couple of news stories here to show you guys. First off, coming from the maker of ibuprofen, there were some rumors floating around on the internet over the weekend suggesting ibuprofen actually accelerates the virus and makes it worse overall, but they've come out and said there's absolutely no medical evidence suggesting that is true. Also from the SEC, guys, the SEC has actually released a statement saying the markets should stay open during this crisis, guys.
Well, I wonder why the SEC said that.
I wonder,
Yeah. Where are they collecting those ticket charges
one,
from,
for
I
one
guess?
shot.
If they close it, they don't have no more revenues. But that's great for us, obviously, and we would love these markets to stay forever open. And I do hope that they can do that and organize that with the technology and whatnot. I don't think it should be a problem.
Yeah, I know we had a couple of people here looking for things relatively strong, and we talked about Costco. I know you talked about a little bit of a soft dealer in Gilead. Looking at Walmart trying to hold up above 107 right now. You got to watch out for those floodgates. If we get a bounce here, that could be a name that maybe you jump into. Obviously, there's some names that are going to have some sales in the next few weeks and months, and others they're going to be in a tremendous amount of pressure. Nike's shutting stores. Walmart has lines. I mean, you do the math there and you pick your poison. I am just working with that long, which in XOM here we're holding this 34.50 level. We can't get back to 35, and we just bounced off of $30 a barrel there in oil. So if you look at oil futures and what just happened, ultimately this could be one of those situations where if we're unable to sustain this move to the upside past 30, I have to start taking some profits off in front of 35 even, because that's going to be the direction. So again, we were able to take some at that $35 mark. The rest will probably have to take a little bit less than we wanted after seeing that little bounce.
Yeah, and again, guys, hit that like button, smash any button you see there, subscribe, like, whatever. If you're welcoming to you guys on Facebook today, welcome. Our first day live on Facebook Live. So we also are live on YouTube. We'll be back here. Come on, JP Morgan. Right now, just 2 positions, and I'll actually call them up for you because it's been a bit of a time since we've done that. We'll refresh it. Hopefully, it's going to update properly. And yeah, sure, why not? It looks like it is. Right here, short. These are the positions I have on right now, guys. We're short Alibaba. That's out of the money, $1. We've talked about that. And our new short right now is JP Morgan, and that's flat to in the money, depending on where that rocks and rolls. So right now, those are my positions. A couple of shorts, and I'm not too nervous, but
I'll go long. We got that back to that 35 area on that long in XOM. We'll take some more shares out at that top range. You can't seem to break it for now, but we'll hold a bit in case it goes. I mean, oil is holding up a little bit after that bounce to the downside. Brendan, what do you got?
What up? One from the cloud space, guys. This one has given you decent opportunities over the past week or so to the downside. OKTA, we've gone from 135 all the way down to $95 here on OKTA. Looking like it might want to break back to the downside as well, guys.
Good look there. And I just had a quick look at one of the names that we've looked at in the past, and that's going to be Codex, bouncing shy of a $10 area. So, I quickly slid over to see if we bounced in the market. It was something we could slide to the short side from the coronavirus name, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. We do, however, have something coming from Valeria, our chat maestra.
What up?
Thanks, Neil, and hey viewers, thank you very much for your likes, for your comments. I know that a lot of people are quarantined now, so let's entertainment with each other, ask us questions. I know that a lot of people stay clear from market today as well because it's crazy. So we trade live for you, and we're here for you as usual. And also, guys, we are on Facebook, so don't be shy, ask us more questions. Guys see everything, they will be replying. watching, and hit the like, subscribe for our show, send links to your friends. Let's be friends with us too. See you later. Back to traders.
Thank you very much, Valeria.
That's so kind. Let's be friends. I like
Hit that like and subscribe if you can. Bit of a flush to the downside, guys.
Let's go, guys. Nice little flush to JP Morgan. Look at this average, Neil. That's lucky right there. I just put it on. 88.40. We averaged into JPM right there, guys. So nice little win to the downside. Wow. We got, obviously 33% more shares on this move. So yes, sir. JP Morgan for the win. Rain down that cash. Let's keep going, guys.
20 break potential here on Uber. It's down 11%, but if we can come back southbound, it just made a top here. I'm going to try to get involved. Remember, SSR, so you might have to fade into some of these shorts. Forget about those breaks. You might get shares, you might not. You have to work into it. So I'm already on the offer trying to get in. I'll slide something in there and see what happens at $20 even. But this is the name I want to be short. I'm going to probably end up having to take off that XOM trade. So we do have a little bit left. It is failing at that 35 area. We were able to get a bunch of it out at 35. We're going to get the rest out there flat and just slid in to 1995 there on Uber. That's working to the downside now.
I mean, this has just been such a wild ride. I mean, this JP Morgan trade there, was not expecting that. Was actually looking to see if it was going to stop me out up here at 89 before crashing back down, and now giving me a pretty sick winner for sure. So really, really happy with that. Would hit the slap shot. NHL come back ASAP as we continue.
Might have to wait for that. Although the Leafs could certainly use the break to figure things out, because their performance is kind of like the market. But here comes Uber finally looking like it wants to slide down further. I mean, the bottom of 1910. 1910's where Uber was when we finally opened up there after that little halt. It got up to 2050. We just grabbed those 95s to the short side, like I mentioned. That's all we have on taking off that position over there in XOM. Not going to get too greedy with that. But here we go. Now Uber making this move. There's the flush we're looking for. This is what it's all about.
Yeah, here comes JP Morgan, and here we go. That's $1. That's $1 winner right there. So we got 2 thumbs for this trade. This has been a good one so far. Bye-bye, JP Morgan. We are short 88.34. This is $1 in the money as we go here, guys. Keep this train rolling now to the downside. JP Morgan cashing out on this one. We've just cash. Rain it down, guys. It's flowing right now. Let's see if we can't keep this rally going. Hope the traders behind us are doing well.
Yeah, here's some consolidation in UAL, which we managed to grab off the open to the short side. Now it's holding around $32. So let's see if we can work into it again. Remember, SSR, so you got to fade into these trades. Uber will look to take a little bit off here in the 1980 range if we can. But I want to get this AAL if I can slide into position. Again, there it flushes. Very, very tricky when you're short sale restricted. So I was crossed down, was unable to get any shares there. So we'll have to go a little bit deeper than I think we initially wanted to, and then build a position on the offer. So we do finally get into a United at 31.64. We'll be adding to this one in front of that 32, in the top here 32.25 or so.
We are liking it all, and I hope you guys are liking the show. It's been I mean, I don't know if you could tell, but it's been pretty exciting.
It's a little while. Okay. The markets are moving just a tiny little bit.
Just a tiny bit. Welcome again, guys. YouTube Live, we're here. Check us out at TraderTV.live on Twitter. Myself, Neil, Brendan, all on Twitter as well, as is the show. So check that out. Tweet us out. Shout out to a lot of, we've had the big heavy hitters on the show before. CEOs of exchanges. Yep. Kevin O'Leary was on the show.
I think we have someone today.
We'll run that in a minute as well. But yeah, Uber right now, guys, $19. Got as low as 19 even. Now pushing 20. Wow.
Yeah, and just looking at that Costco, so it's trying to make a bounce here. It's been one of those relatively strong names, a name that I've liked to the long side. We did have an XOM long as well, but this does look like it's making a 283 bottom if you want to give it to that. Again, just sort of looking at what the futures are doing. If you want to base this on what the market's doing, look at the range that we're sort of holding in 7,200. So if we're going to rip, I like that Costco. We'll see if we can't get this one to the long side.
Yeah, futures ripping now. Our JP Morgan going to be in a little bit of trouble here.
Yeah, same with United here.
We've already cashed. I mean, no matter what, our JP Morgan is a winner chicken dinner. So yeah, if you're watching this, get the chicken ready. We've been hitting some winners today, guys, on the show. But we're going to wait to see here. JP Morgan will be out of this one if we get near 90. So we'll check that out right now. But yeah, big time show here and a lot of money being made, guys. Wow.
Yeah, and here comes that 33 level on United. Cannot hold it through that. We're going to take take this one out on a break of 33 even. Holding nicely, however, is that Uber, so relative weakness certainly in that name. So you check out of the short that doesn't look like it wants to hold to the downside, but you make sure you hang on to the one that looks relatively weak in case of a bounce. Could not get shares there in Costco, unfortunately. So couldn't catch that break to the upside on Costco. Was trying to pick this one up here at 285. No liquidity for me, no moss. We'll see if we can't get back in here.
Okay, we're no mossing ourselves here in JP Morgan. Take a nice little long 88.71 right now in JP. So we'll see. I told you I didn't really want to trade in this range here, but I feel like I don't want to miss a potential big move to the top side here. So we go back long, one risk unit, JP Morgan right now, 88.70 flat. Obviously, right now is you have 65. So we're going to run that trade right now as well. But wow, what a big day here for us on the show and for the markets. I know some people talking about it being an historical day. I mean, yeah, it's been great, and we're really happy that joining us.
I'm going to kick myself a trade that usually I'm all over. We're going to talk about the small cap recap, and I know Brendan's going to mention this one. And usually I'm all over a short like this. You know, stick to what you're best at. What a crazy move here. Small cap recap with Brendan.
Do it.
Hey guys, yeah, a lot of these giving you kind of the same entry and the same type of trade today, so we'll focus on a couple of these virus-related stocks. We mentioned this one if you joined us at 9 o'clock this morning, AYTU, one of the only ones with actual news related to the company today, gapping higher today, 19% still, but it has come off the highs, obviously. 150 up here, great level, 150 to 155. If you go out to the daily chart, all kinds of congestion around that, basically 145 up to 160 if you want to expand that a little bit. So we came back up into that area after the halt this morning. So we resumed actually at 155 straight to the downside. Retest, lower high, beautiful short there all the way down to 135. Still holding all of that one. Hopefully we get a bigger flush than we're expecting. CODX, one we go back to all the time. This one's actually negative on the day. Just wanted to point out this 985 here was a big time level on Friday. We actually closed right on that number. Pre-market held 985. We came back up into 985 on the open. I missed this, but another great opportunity to get into the short. It's trading at 850 right now, so 985 down to about 850 available to you on Co-Diagnostics. Guys, back to you.
Thanks a lot here, Brendan. We take off that trade that was not working to the south side in United. So we have our first win in that one. We take a hit on the second short, but you hang on to the one and the market starts to slide up that is holding to the downside. So we grab that short, of course, in Uber. That one breaks back down to 1976 here, looking like it does want to continue to flush, but the market's holding up in a very, very tight range. I mean, the ES here is just going 20 handles or so, but here's the flush coming now in Uber, punching through that view up at 1980. So let's see if we can't work out of some shares here down into that 1950 area with that 20 short.
Yeah, good look, and what's up to you guys out there too? What's up, Elaine? What's up, Albert? What's up, Dax? Keep the chat going on here, guys. We tried to average in low side there on. We did get some shares actually. My bad. We did average in here to some JPM. So nice little trade running to the top side right now. We'll see if this market movement can keep going for JP Morgan. We like this one to the top side long 88.60. You guys can get it with me right now if you want, but we're going to see right now 88.60 JP Morgan.
Yeah, and as a market slid down and bounces towards that little break, I'm going to move my stop to break even on Uber, so that $20 even area is going to be for me. We'll give it a couple of cents actually. 20.05 I like to do with a stop, but it just slides down and gives me 76s again out. So we'll take some profits on that one. But I am also now looking at that AYTU consolidation. Brennan just mentioned this name here, so you're looking at this 140 to 145 range. If it wants to hold weak, it's done 15 million in shares. I think you can take advantage of it. Again, you'll start to think about a percentage of return here. If it makes a move to the bottom and you were short here, you're going to take almost a 10% move in front of 140. So it certainly can be worth a look, guys.
Yeah, we like that a lot. We're going to get out of some of our JP Morgans if it comes around $89. So we're right there right now. This is a nice little 20-cent winner. And basically the only thing that we really have on right now, JP Morgan in a small Alibaba short as well, just in case this market. There it is. Nice little 30-penny winner plus. Now let's go JP Morgan. We finally maybe have you. We are long JP Morgan 88.60. It's busting through 89, and there we go. We do not miss the boat on this one. We reload down here, guys. JP Morgan. Now we're going. Here we go. $1.40 now. Let's go. JP Morgan to the top side, guys.
Absolutely. And we talked a little bit about some oil names. Look at the move to the upside that just happened in Occidental, booming through 12.50. So it just went a 10% to the upside. Still down 12 on the day. Big time move as we just crossed $30 a barrel, and we're also heading up in the future. So alert to that.
Yeah. Yeah, alert, alert, alert. Here goes JP Morgan, now $1 in the money. Nice little run to the upside here. You can see bottom picking a little bit down here. Bang, bang, bang. And then now we go upside, long 88.56 right now. You see 77s on the offer. That's $1.20, $1.25 in the money on this one. So here we go, guys. Once again, let's see if we can't keep the train rolling on some of these names.
Yeah, and I'm still looking for some south side opportunities here, and one of them is the futures are going to hold here. Macy's is giving you a consolidation in front of 675. So last time this happened on Friday, we gave ourselves an opportunity to take advantage of it. Remember, again, SSR for a cheap stock, so you're going to have to utilize midpoints maybe. You can't necessarily hit the bid, fade into it. So I got a couple of things in here. I'm going to work with midpoints, see if I can't get 70.50. I'm sitting on the offer trying to get 71 again in front of that, 675 or maybe 680 as well. Going to be tricky to get in ultimately. I'll follow this one down a few cents if I have to. Just can't hit this bid. You see liquidity, I just can't get it.
Yeah, that's part of the problem, obviously, is hitting these bids, and you got to make sure that there's enough liquidity there. We did get out of some of our JP Morgan, but still holding on to a little bit as well. So still have 60% of this one. It's in the money 50 pennies, but we did not get out of them all up here at 89.60. This market, Neil, is just a little El Loco, but the one thing is you can always hail Ubers, so we're going to go see what Uber's doing soon.
Yeah, I still have that Uber trade on, and again, it's just holding above 75 there and below that 220 even where we grabbed it to the short side. But I can tell you one stock that nobody is doing celebrating, and no one's popping confetti for Boeing. It got as low as 136 here, and it looks like it's sliding back to the downside. 140 break about to happen in Boeing. I might jump in. When this one flushes, it kind of does its own thing, and a retest of the bottom seems like it could be in order. Probably should have had this one maybe somewhere here in this 143 if we can get that price even better.
Yeah, I'm dropping some of these JP Morgans you see here. We'll see if we can't get some out before we crash back down here. But that is the market today, man. I mean, it's just going to be one of those things where, we'll put our orders in, hope to get filled every once in a while and make a little bit of money for you guys as we go as well. But here we go. JP Morgan still have that long, guys. We're going to start to piece some out because, again, 20 cents is still 20 cents, and we will take that. We have direct market access, so most of these trades we're getting paid to make by adding liquidity. So there you go, JP Morgan, cash registered again. Let's go.
Yeah, I do believe in, a little bit we're going to have our good friend coming from OTC markets. We talked about, Bitcoin a little bit. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about that with Jeff Mendel from OTC Link.
Guys.
There goes a bounce up there in Uber. So that actually took me out of that break-even 20 stop. So, we take most of it out for a nice little win. We're now out of that trade, and the bounce up is going to trigger us into Macy's. So I had that short. We're going to want to look for something to the long side as well. I was looking at the Clorox. Yeah. I was also looking at, previously at Costco. We'll revisit some of those names. Costco back to 289. 289.
289. What was Costco at its low spot there today?
289 was the actual break top here. So
let's 279.
Let's have a quick look. I mean, 285 has been a good long on Costco, but a breakout through 289, if the market ever got going, could be spicy as well.
We're sitting here at 54, and there it is. We explode the money on that one. JP Morgan, a nice little clean dollar right there. Only 20% of the trade left. You can see we littered the offer here. We're not trying to, go crazy trading. We're just making a few trades every couple minutes here, and there it is again. JP Morgan, we defend that bottom down here and now getting paid off to the upside here as JP Morgan continues to go.
Raimundo, we're on every single day at 9 o'clock until lunchtime. Well, for us anyways, at noon. So make sure you tune in on a daily basis. We cover some of what's in play, what news is going on, some preparation before the market open here in North America at 9:30. So jump in, tune in right away. I'm looking here at this Costco 289. Kind of wish we'd pick some up at that 285 area. Had some trouble getting liquidity, so we're just have a short in Macy's looking for something long. I'm going to jump to the SPY for a second so you guys can see what's going on in the S&P. if we take this top here, you want to have something to the long side. I might just take the spiders themselves if I can't find anything.
Take? Yeah, because a lot of these equities right now, besides Softy, a lot of these equities not really wanting to go. I mean, check out Apple here, guys. Well, JP Morgan is
Sean, I didn't know what else to do. I couldn't find something on the long side, so I grabbed the SPY themselves at 247, 87. Quick little bounce up. Let's see if we can't get up to that 250. And again, I was looking for names at levels that I liked. I didn't really come up with anything, so if we're breaking to the upside, we'll use that 246 bottom and work along in that name.
Yeah, go nuts in the SPY right there. JP Morgan, you see the last sell right there. We've already taken out $4. That's what we're adding up at the bottom there, right? And so big time winners happening. We just get out shy of 90 there, guys. Look at these buys, look at these outs. So we continue to defend JP Morgan. Follow us on Twitter, hit that like button. I'm going to smash this one as we continue to go here. JP Morgan, we're still long 88.09, guys. It's a ho-hum, $2. Here we go. Now we're more than $2. Whoa, there's that bull. What's up, bull? Now we go in the money. $2.25. What up, Brandon?
All right, guys, just having a look at Kroger, another name that we were talking about a little bit last week as being one of the stronger. Look at this move, 4.3% to the upside now for KR ever since the reopen, $29.20 up to $32 in a straight line for Kroger, guys.
Okay, yeah.
Kroger. I mean,
that's the thing. You always miss
that's a name that we never really look at. And again, this is why I sort of jumped into the SPY here, because I couldn't find a name that I was really, really comfortable with at the prices that I was looking at. So we're now, we just got 50 cents, $1. It's all over the place in the market because liquidity is crazy. But I do believe we have our good friend Jeff Mendel from OTC Link. There you are. It is Monday. It's a crazy Monday. I'm going to work out of some of this SPY. Wow, crazy dollar move there. But Jeff, how are things for you this morning?
Guys, it's absolutely crazy over here. Obviously, as you can see, I am working from home today. I wish I had the setup that you guys did up there right now, but we'll jump right into it. I saw you. I heard you mentioning GBTC. Let me just pull it up over here. I mean, right now, like I said, it's down about 15%, and obviously that's kind of what's happening in the overall crypto market right now. But obviously, there's a lot of liquidity out there still, and said we'll see where it kind of settles out throughout the day. I also want to jump into a couple of our European names. RHHBY. I don't know if you guys heard President Trump speaking on Friday. You probably did, but obviously as soon as he mentioned Roche, the stock went absolutely crazy. What was interesting was that jump happened after the European close where it trades locally, right? And so over here in the States, it's down big time. It's down about 8% today, but that is off of the violent jump that it had to the upside with the testing kits at the end of the last week. So obviously that's on huge volume, and that's kind of the big one that we're looking at today.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely going to be a big one. I see 1.3. It's not always about shares, but I see 1.3 million shares. Liquidity actually pretty solid now that I look at it here, on both, the bid and the ask. And again, OTCX is going to be what you want to make sure you have access to. And just to show you the move that you're talking about to the upside, I mean, wowzers, $2 move that is still going here. Crazy movement is, the markets are absolutely running like crazy here. We just got the $2.50
right here on
the
JPM,
SPY, so we're in the money about $2.50 on that. Are there any other particular names? I know you talk about the those ADRs. There's been some short sell restrictions on some names. I know in Spain and Milan. Is there any crossover with any of the intralisted that you know about?
No, you can still hit the bid.
That's key.
Very key. Counter, they aren't listed. A couple other names that you should definitely look at today would be Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Right, with all of the Fed movements right now, obviously those names are affected the most. Let me actually pull up the Fannie Mae chart while we're talking. Maybe you guys can do it too. But obviously that's down big today, 15%. But I think it's been basically trading to the upside so far today. Actually, it's been kind of bouncing around a little bit, but obviously a lot of action in that name as well too. That's already up to over 3.5 million shares traded today, which is huge for that name so early in the day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, again, mortgage holders there in the States. And with lowering of the rates near zero, I know you saw that today, Jeff, as well. Well, actually last night, forcing this limit down. But look, it's been a crazy day. I know a lot of our viewers are wondering about possible market closures or anything like that. Do you have anything that you may want to share? Do you just follow what the Feds say? How does that all work? And will we see your market lock up, obviously, if there's a national freeze on some of these equity markets?
So first of all, I mean, in my opinion, I feel like keeping the markets open is the best overall, right? Anytime that you say that you're going to close down the markets, causes an increased panic, right? Obviously, we see a lot of panic selling right now, but I think that just multiplies whenever you say that, okay, you're not going to be able to trade for X amount of days, right? So I think what we have in place right now with the market-wide circuit breakers is the best way to move forward, not only from a public perspective, but also just from a continuity of markets, right? We're a free trade country, right? We believe that people should be able to access the marketplace when they need to, they feel is the best for them, right? And so shutting that down, I think, is just overall bad. But like I said, that's my opinion. We haven't had any type of discussion around if that would in fact happen. So for now, it's the circuit breakers at 7 and 13 and 20% that will go off.
Okay, great. Yeah, so same as always.
There you go. So we talked about those at the beginning of the show. That 7 and the 13, and then the 22 is the only one that actually lasts into that last 35 minutes of the session. So I'm assuming you guys follow that as well.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
so like I said, I mean, lots of names moving around. RHHBY is the one to watch today. If I see anything else pop up, I'll shout it out on YouTube. I love the new channel, guys.
Great, thanks.
Glad you do. Glad you do. Facebook as well.
All right, Jeff Mendel, guys, thank you so much. OTC Markets, and thanks for pumping the channel there as well, my friend. We will be back with you whenever you see fit. Thank you, Jeff Mendel, OTC Markets.
Thanks a lot there, Jeff.
Thanks. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, so bit of action there, up towards 2,500 on the ES, and as we grab that SPY trade, and I apologize for those wicks there on the breakout of the opening range top at 248, we got 247.87, worked it out, and when we saw that hold at 2,500 on the ES, that's when we took the profits off there, getting most of it out for about a $2.5 win. But here comes again this 250 level to the upside. So the market bouncing. If we break 2,500 and go, this could be spicy. I'm getting back in.
Yeah, exactly. And there goes Apple, guys. We're at dollars now, right now. Hit the siren as we were with Jeff. We pumped the long a couple times here at 254. We had to hold it a little bit against us, but now we're running to the upside. Apple for the win once again. We've got this one. There's two longs on for you. Let me show you what they are quickly before we go to the big screen, and it looks mighty red over there. These are our positions right now, guys. There it is, Apple long. 253.60 right now. That's $1.50 in the money. JP Morgan is $3.50 in the money. So we hit the sirens. The winners do
We
not
talked
stop.
about 250 break.
Let's
it comes
go.
again. We jump into the long. We got 250.50. We'll start to work a little bit out here, maybe even a quarter for the buck on the SPY, but we're bouncing back to the upside. Here we go. We are ready for the sector watch, which after this bounce, it's still going to look like it's a little bit red, but we'll see what Brennan has in store. Jump to the big screen for sector watch.
Yeah, I think we're going to be talking a little bit about different levels of bad over the next little while. But now, guys, 7.6% here for the overall S&P 500. When I came up here about 60 seconds ago or so, we were at 8.3%. So now 7.7% for the overall S&P. I want to focus on this group first. I'm going to switch over to this side real quick. Some of the retailers here just getting absolutely crushed today. Gap down 21%. Best Buy 13%. Macy's 13.5% to the downside. Some of the consumer durables goods as well, 25% for CPRI, Tapestry here 19%, PHM 18.7%, big time numbers. The banks really under pressure as well, diversified financials here, 20+% moves on a lot of these. Insurance names getting hit today as well, 16, 14%, we have 12, 10.5, I mean, take your pick, all of these going to be under significant pressure. Not a single stock in the financial group in positive territory. You got to go up here to consumer services to find a couple of names that are in positive territory. Tech stocks under pressure, guys. The leader, DXC, Payc. 1220 paycheck there down significantly. FISB about 12%, FIS 11.5%. Industrials, we talked about healthcare, materials, I mean, take your pick. It's different levels of bad, as I mentioned. Where was the industrials here? I wanted to mention some of the airlines here. UAL 19%. FedEx was in here about 17% to the downside. There's Boeing 16%. We mentioned the news. 7.5% in negative territory for the S&P, guys. Back over to you.
And while you were gone, it was a siren alert because, Neil, Apple 255. This is a monster. I mean, we are monster long here at 253. We talked about that. 253.50. Apple to the upside here as the market right back to that halt level now of 7%. Who knows? But there we go. Apple, nice little move to the top side. JP Morgan, $3.50 winner. Look, just to give you guys an update, we're going to get out if it does break down below this level, 90.25. So we'll give this one about $1.50. Wow, this is a $4 winner right now at JP Morgan.
And if you've been following the show, we've talked about those halt levels, the overnight in the 7%. That would be 25.13 on the ES if it breaks to the upside. The overnight one was up at 25.67. When that level breaks, usually the floodgates open up, but if it retraces, it tends to be a good short. So I have only one short that I'm working with, and we're trying to hold on tight for dear life on Macy's. If it breaks 7, we're out of that one. We actually took out the SPY top wick, and then the rest at flat as we're holding, trying to get through that 25.13. So you got to watch that level very, very closely on the ES. If we break out, wowzers, you could see a big, big move in towards that overnight halt range.
Yeah, Dax, we see you there. Prime Minister's talking. I think ours as well at some point today. Our Prime Minister is actually in isolation.
He's in isolation,
so,
but his wife
I don't know.
Tested positive.
But she's fine, apparently. There's absolutely nothing
What
wrong
is
with
not
her,
positive, but it's not far from it right now, as I look at 30.50 on oil. I'm looking at XOM at $37. 37 XOM with a massive, massive bounce there.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Man, if the market fades and you're looking for something to come back in, you might see me dip my toes into ExxonMobil, especially if we retake 30. But again, this is going to be more about whether we hold these halt levels at the top and selling comes back in. Right now, it's been only to the upside there. As I'm looking at that SPY, we took this one off. It's basically at, just lower than we took it off at the top end. So we haven't had a secondary breakout. Our initial trade was at 47.80. I'm not sure we see those prices anytime soon unless we get a huge reversal. Yeah. Here comes another leg to the upside. Here we're going to test that break. I want to jump in again to the SPY if we take this 25.13 out to the upside here, Sean.
Guys, I mean, this has just been a fantastic day for trading for me and us on the show here. You guys can see this. This is a $2 winner right now on Apple. We're long 253.50. Our JP Morgan, guys, is long all the way down here, 88 and change. The market, like Neil said, another leg up. Brendan, what's up, bud?
A little one, guys, from the food services industry. SYY, very, very strong here ever since the bottom at 39.75. We're at 42 now for this one. Decent volume, about 5 or 6 times relative volume on SYY, moving back to the upside as well, guys.
Okay,
thank you for that name. We just tried again at that 25.13. We do not break it, so
let's go out.
I'm looking for that breakout through the top. We can say it over and over again, that halt level. I'm not buying the top unless it's through there in a shot, and then you see if it can't run upside there, and maybe some of these names in the market can drag us through.
Booyah, the market goes not green, but our positions are mucho green right now. Hit the cash register.
Apparently Trudeau talks at 1.
Yeah, 4.30. Yeah, Trudeau, yeah. 4.30, guys, in the money now. We're long $88 right now on JPM. It's at $92, guys. $4 in the money. These are not options. These are real positions here, guys. $88 long in the money on JP Morgan. $4 in the mone. $4.30 in the money. Apple trade. Holy this one as well goes in the money. $3 in the money on this one as well. Slap-shotting this one out. Hope you're liking the show, guys. Welcome. We do this every single $5 in the money now, JP Morgan. Brendan, this is nuts. Are we ready for Brendan? No, not yet. Okay.
Not yet, but
ES
I do have the bounce here, and I've been looking at the SPY again. If you're looking at the ES, it's 25.13. I'm going to express the trade in the SPY just because I like the liquidity there. But it's trying to break through that halt level as we speak.
Yeah.
So trigger to the upside if it can break and hold that. It looks like we just touched it now. If we can hold this level and break towards the overnight halt, that could be huge. Bang. I just grabbed in at 52s on the SPY, so once again back into that long.
Yeah, cowbell right there as we get out at 250, 255.90 there right here on Apple, 94.95 I think it was. As we now go upside even more, guys, just to give you a review once again of our positions before we throw to Brendan. This is what we have on right now. Welcome to the jungle, guys. The water is warm. This is a $3 winner on Apple. This is a $5 winner on JP Morgan. Let's go, Brendan.
All kinds of opportunities, guys. Have a look at some of the travel and leisure names as well here. Norwegian Cruise Lines now up 20.5%. Look at this move from $10 to $13 on NCLH. Want to show you AAL real quick. Still negative here, but it's gone from 12 bucks up to 13.5 in a straight line as well, guys.
Gulp.
So you do see a bit of a retrace. We break through that 25.13, and we try to come back in. Looking at the ES here, but we're continuing to surge to the upside. I have 252 long. I'll jump into the SPY so you can sort of follow along what we're working with. And for me, because I was a short today, I'm not going to lie, we jump into some shorts. I hedge the trade by going long. So for me, it's not going to be a great day because I'm going to be short pretty much all day long. I've had at least something to the short side. But we jump into the long in the futures here to mitigate some of this. Starting at that 87, we're adding to it basically a few times on some breaks to the upside. Now we have 252s as we continue to try to run. Once Macy's holds above 7 even, that's going to be it for that one. That's going to be my biggest trade of the day. It'll be to the downside. Unfortunately, the big miss, I think, was Costco, which I'm now looking at 291.70. Tried and failed to get that one at 287, but it is what it is. Liquidity is a little bit different than what you're accustomed to. If we can't hold above this 252 on the SPY, and that's 25.13, you got to dump some risk. But we're in the money buck here on the SPY. We'll see if we can't run to that overnight halt price, which I think is the next level or the next shoe to drop, at least in this market.
Yeah, and that is the next one to go right now. As JP Morgan, I just want to give you guys an update. We changed our stops here to 91.50. No matter what, we will try to capture a $3.50 winner on this if it does pull back. Look, I can't get out on any pullback because a pullback generally has meant back to the upside now. But again, these stocks, Neil, as you know and we all know and all the viewers hopefully know, can teeter on brink at any time. So it's not that we're celebrating these wins. You should have, and I know Neil's talked about that as well, stop orders. Put your orders in. Limit your risk, guys. If you're long, make sure you capture some of these profits. I have the stops in Apple and now in JP Morgan. 2 stops out, and let's just see where these things want to run to.
And remember, when you have a stop, you've got to cross a little bit. Your liquidity is going to be different. The rules are going to be a lot different. If you're crossing on a name 20 cents with your stop order to get liquidity, maybe that's 40. And I mean, I've missed a couple of trades today because of that mistake. That's just going to be the reality sometimes. You don't always find the liquidity. Micron, I'm just noticing here, breaking a little bit to the downside. So I'm going to have a trail on that SPY. We'll get some of this out on the way back, and we're not holding above 25.13 at 2,500 breaks. We'll take the last half off. You got some profits on the way up, but you don't want to give too much away. So we'll risk a little bit on the way back, but I'm just noting here, Micron. There's a bit of a flush to the downside, and Micron just broke. And again, tricky to get in. Everything's SSR. You can't hit bids when these breaks happen. So wanted a break there of 40. Jumped in, see if we can't pick up some liquidity. We got some there at 35. I was just looking at a trace back into VWAP there.
At least, okay, here we go. Yeah, we're coming back. I was going to say at least the slips right now, if you do get slipped, might seem smaller than normal because of the veracity of these markets. But okay, a name we want to talk about right here. We do have trade of the day coming up. We have Gilead now rocketing up to 70. Man, we picked that one at 65. Look at this. This is where we were long. Unfortunately, we dumped it there. But look at this, just stair-stepping back up. And I did talk about that. That's going to be more to come on this one. But we are ready right now, as I'm going to try to make a run, and we're going to go to Brendan right now for Money Talks.
Big time moves in the currency markets. Once again, guys, not only equities going crazy in this environment, some of the currencies, big time moves. I want to focus on the Australian dollar here. The Bank of Australia coming out on Thursday to announce some policy moves that they're going to make to help kind of stimulate their economy. So big move down when that announcement came out, a full % in negative territory for the Aussie. They just announced that just before U.S. equities started trading. So 61 is 2008 lows for the the Australian dollar. So we've gone from 65.5 all the way down to 61 for the Aussie. Again, Bank of Australia coming out on Thursday to announce some policy measures to help their economy there. So the New Zealand dollar, not as bad, but down as well in negative territory, about 0.12%. Look at crypto here. Bitcoin's 49.35 this morning. Yeah, 4,935, 9% to the downside. Ethereum 112, 12% in negative territory. So crypto getting hit. The Canadian dollar under pressure, 71.75 now versus the US dollar. That all comes back to the price for crude oil. Talked about it getting back above $30 today, but big time move as well to the downside for the CAD. Japanese yen 1.5%, 106 now and change for the Japanese yen. We got all the way back up to almost 107 at the end of last week, but a big move down for the yen as well. So not only equities moving around like crazy today, some of the currencies with big time outside range moves as well. Let's go back to Neil.
Thanks a lot there, Brennan. And we just got back below that 2,500 area. So sliding in, and we tried to break that pre-market halt, overnight halt, not the overnight, but the 7% halt level. And we talked about what happens when it fails through a price like that and comes back. So I did have a Micron short. Boeing broke that level that I talked about. I know it was a while back ago, but I mentioned that 140 to the downside. We got 139.80 short on Boeing. We jumped into the SPY at 250, so we reversed to the short side. When you retake that 2,500, we jump out of those longs, and here comes the market down. Micron, wow, 37.75. So we'll see if we can't take some shares out short of that 38.35 short that we have, and then run the rest of these a little bit more aggressively. I think the bigger upside is going to be if Boeing can retest some of those bottoms.
Yeah, and look, guys, at this out that we're able to get on Apple up here. We talked about getting out ahead of 256. So no matter which way you look at that one, I'm pretty happy with it. It's not perfect, but it's close enough. Street Fighter, the game right there. We love Street Fighter. This market now pulling back down finally. Not finally. I mean, I don't know. Just a guess at this point. Apple touches 253 and change before bouncing back to 255 and change. So here we go. Another $2 winner right now. So here's one that we haven't hit. We'll floss that one off. My JP Morgan trade, though, that one we got out. Look at this out, guys. We talk about 91.50. There it is. Save ourselves $1.50 on that out. Obviously should have reversed short on some of these ones, but we can't get them everywhere. Here we go, guys. This market has been nutsos.
Yeah, I mean, nutsos is an understatement.
Is that a word?
I do think, but what?
Nutsos.
I don't know. Why not? It's a character in Above the Rim.
Oh, is it?
Yes, it is. I know you know that movie, Sean, but you probably haven't watched it in a while. That Boeing break just happened. It did happen at 140. We were able to actually get shares, oddly enough. I mean, everything else that's SSR, it's been very, very troubling to get in. Got down immediately about $1.30 in the money, but that's just a liquidity thing. The futures really are going to have to roll over here as I watch the ES at least trying to rebound. So you got to watch out, alert. If we get back to 25.13, that's the level that I'm shorting in front of. That's worked last week. We'll see what happens this week. And again, my bias is going to be to the short side of daylight today. I'll sort of go down with the well, I'm not going down with the ships, no. Shorting, but you have to have some levels to work with. I think the upside is tremendous if it does the same thing it did last week when it fails at a second push of those levels.
Yeah, and obviously we're not going down with any ships here, but we are, and you do have to have, sometimes it's nice to have a bias because you do get jiggled out a little bit of some of these trades. My bias right now is to the long here, especially with Apple. We're back to day's high right here and another $3 winner. So alley-oop to the market on that one. Sometimes a little lucky getting at the right spots. We did hit Apple, our very first long at 253.50 and just been enjoying the fruits of that trade here. It keeps going upside here. This is an awesome opportunity to get Apple at 257 maybe. Wow, this market, it's funny because the market seems like it is down a lot, but the bottom pick of some of these stocks, man, Apple's up $20+ right now. What's up, Brandon?
Procter & Gamble, another one to have a look at, guys. Nice little consolidation setting up here just below 114, which was where we ended on Friday after a huge move up. But this thing has gone, guys, since we reopened from 101 all the way to 114 for Procter & Gamble, guys.
And that's another name related to like your Costco's, you get your Proctors as well. Here comes the retest of that 25.13 level. If it breaks this, I mean, this was the short that couldn't be broken last week, all session long, or every single day. We'll see what happens here. It's going to be 252 on in the SPY. That's where my stop is certainly triggered. Got to make sure that we have that locked and loaded and crossed enough to make sure we don't miss it.
And Apple is in the building here. Explode the money. $2.57 now, guys. This is a $3.50 winner. Some of you wanted bigger winners. Multiple dollars today all over the place. Here we go. I'm going to adjust my stop. I just don't need that drop to happen once again. Maybe if we break back below 256, I'm going to go do the trade of the day. So we'll put our stop order in. 255.50, guys, on Apple. We'll make sure to capture that $2.50. But wow, what a winner.
And it just ticked off that 25.13. Couldn't even get the ad. I mean, I literally just crossed 30 to 40 pennies down on the SPY when it broke the top, and I couldn't even add to that position. I mean, it's unbelievable the lack of liquidity that I'm seeing there. So when I'm able to add, unfortunately, we only have 250.35 or so. My price, I'd like a little closer to 251, but with these spreads, if we fall from here, you're talking 247 anyways, so it's not the end of the world. Boeing can't seem to get going, but I think I might want to add to that one if we get a flush here. If we can take out 250 on the SPY, if we can hold below 2,500, again, for me, this is the bet that I kind of wanted to make. I did miss out on the secondary long there over in Costco, and I know if you guys were following along in that trade, we picked out a few names that we liked long. Costco did give you that secondary move when that 290 did break. I missed that one. It then bounced again off 287, but now I'm looking for that short off the failure to hold above that halt level. So for me, it's Boeing to the short side and SPY right now short expressing that trade over in the Amex.
Watch out for the Qs now. I know that's Qs as a NASDAQ 100. And shout out to Sofian, I guess, watching us. So what's up with that? Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll continue.
That's a nice name.
Yeah, any sort of trades you guys
hunt for trades. There's lots of them today.
Hunt for trades for us if you want us to look at any sort of names here. I've just been destroying Apple. Well, every stock, it doesn't matter. Let's go to Walmart here again. I did want to check back on that, and then when we get the heads up for Liz, we will throw to her as well. Walmart right now, wow, 109, gets as high as 111. I talked about this in the pre-market as a possible safe haven, Neil, for those of you guys looking to put equity to work. I don't know why you would right now put cash to work, but if you did in the morning, congratulations. You're a $10 winner now in Walmart. That's happened every single time off these halts, Neil. Maybe eventually one day we'll learn to hold something when we see those dramatic moves. But for us, we're scalping. But if you guys are looking for longer term trades, there were definitely a few here. McDonald's not doing much today.
But we do know there's a lot of volatility happening over in Europe, and that's one good reason why we jump to the big screen with Liz and our European update.
Hey guys, welcome to the European update. We have a super negative board all across right now. We have London down by 5.6%. We have Germany's down by about 5.5%. France down by about 7%. Italy down by about 5.5%, and Spain down by about 8.5%. In the news right now, Lufthansa was just announced that all of their Austrian flights will be suspended starting on Wednesday. And Sanofi said that they will be running business as usual in their Paris plants. That's it for the Europe update. Back to Brendan.
All right, 11 o'clock, let's get into trade of the day. Welcome to all of those who are joining us for the first time or possibly for the first time. Good to have everyone aboard today. This is the segment where we go back over one of the trades that either Neil or Sean took off of the open this morning. Most of the time going to be involving one of the stocks that we mentioned at 9 o'clock in the morning. Join us at 9 o'clock. We go over all of the stocks that are moving in the pre-market to the upside, the downside, talk about the news. We talk about why some of the levels that we like in relation to actually trading them once the market gets open. Today, I don't think we got to Gilead in the pre-market. Maybe Sean did, actually. We were talking about some of the virus-related names, though, and this name, I believe, did come up. Sean's good to go with Gilead over at the TV. Let's go to him.
You teased Brendan there. Yeah, we did talk about it in the pre-market, and we will get to that very, very soon. Look at this number, guys. That's the impressive thing for me. We talked about it in the pre-market, and me personally, just thinking that, hey, look, someone's going to have to solve this thing. Why not these guys? Why not J&J? You do see a couple bounces there in some of these stocks. And look, it's a lot of pressure when you sit down in your terminal, if you're at home, on a trading floor, whatever, when you come in and you're going to know the market's going to be limit down. And it was limit down last night when the futures opened up due to some of those interest rate talks. We talked about that, obviously near zero right now. We pick a stock and you sort of have to believe in it, but we didn't know what was going to happen. You can see here, the stock does blow up. Why don't we, look, join us every day at 9 o'clock. This is why. Why don't we run that first clip and you'll be able to see it. I did want to talk quickly about Gilead. We did look at that one. I personally think Gilead or J&J will be the ones that will eventually get some sort of a vaccine. They've been talking about it, although, however, they're still talking about it being months away. So we say WTF to that, and hopefully that gets fixed soon. But I like Gilead. Look, only down 4.6%. Again, we talked about a few safe havens there, Costco, Walmart, and I mean, if we call up the daily chart, it's not like it's going to look any better for Gilead. But it's not horrible. I mean, you get back in February, they're around $69. They're $67, you can see today. So we're not horribly away here. If you want to park some money in a potential runner here, I think some of these pharma companies, especially ones that are in the vaccine business, could get this thing done. Gilead, of course. Okay, there we go. So pat myself on the back. Obviously, we pick that stock and we pick it up nice and early here. Get in early and then ride this thing up. But unfortunately, you're going to see where we go right now as it just now turns positive. So again, depending on your style of trade, guys, Trader TV Live here, this show is for you because if you're a scalper, you may have done something like what I was doing. If you're going to hold positions long term, take options, take something like that. Look at this call, Brendan. $65. Up to 70 and change. If you're a long-term trader, this is one you probably still have. Only real chop area was right here, and then of course right now, but we're at day's high.
All right, we had a number of different things that we were discussing in the pre-market. Wanted to mention though, on this one, it was very clear when the sellers kind of ran out of steam and buying came into the market. There was a very, very distinct point where someone kind of switched, the buy switch on, and both the market and some of these virus-related stocks, even J&J, you can have a look at the J&J chart, did exactly the same thing. But yeah, gave you that really, really clear bottom, really nice move back up into the pre-market levels, and then actually started to hold above the prior or the pre-market levels of support. Wanted to mention, Sean, on the pullback, I don't know if we're going to get to this in a clip, but on the pullback there, we came all the way back into a very, very distinct level from the pre-market, held beautifully. Any thoughts on, kind of revisiting the long here?
Thoughts 100%. We should have. I mean, that's a great call once again. And I believe probably, Brendan, this is what you're talking about, 67.50 or so, this little area right here. Unfortunately, that is what got us out of the trade. Let's be perfectly honest. When I noticed it wasn't breaking right here, we put in a stop order for a little bit to make sure that we capture. I mean, look, it's a $1.50 winner, so we capture that, make sure. But yeah, that does scare me a little bit. We have two more clips. Let's run the next one, see what's going through my mind. We finally get a little bit of a catapult here. Whoa, there it goes. Gilead, we talked about that, 65.50. We go long. That's where we're long. It's 73 pennies in the money right now. Let's take off half because, again, we're a little bit jumpy right now. We could get up to 66.60. I'm going to take some off for a clean dollar here, 66.50 if we can get it. That's Gilead. I think, hopefully, this name continues to go, but we're going to pair some off here as we have no idea. Okay, so there you go. And we talk about that. It looks like we didn't maybe jump into this one early, but look, this is all halt, right? So we come back right now in about 3 or 4 minutes into the halt, we take it out, and you do hear me talking about the stock being jumpy. Look, we have no idea where it's going to go, but if you do your research and you understand some of the companies and obviously what's happening on a macro level, we don't need to tell you guys about that. This is a great name to hold. This is in the right space. They'll move with the equity markets. This used to be like a $150 name years ago. So it does have some room to go. The bottom is 60 and change, so we were right around there at 65, kind of a risk-free trade. Let's run the last clip and just discuss where our out came. We got to get back to trading. We want to talk right now quickly about Gilead here. I'm just to wrap this trade up here. We're going to get out if it breaks down below 67. If not, let's see if we get even higher up here as the day goes on. We do like this name. We've talked about why. We're going to hold it. Great long down here. Management out there. Now let's hold half of it. We're going to get out if we break down below this little level here. 67 and change. That's Gilead for you. So there you go. That's a good talk right there. Thanks for that clip. Great job, guys. And look, once again, this 67 level, we didn't want that to break. So as you push this back, thanks, Brendan, for bringing this up. It actually coincides with what was happening here in the pre-market. So this level, unfortunately, cry me a river a little bit, does get us out. Touches down to VWAP. This is just a 1 minute chart before obviously accelerating a lot to the upside. So that's the trade of the day today. We could have had many, man. $4 on JP Morgan, multiple dollars on Apple, Softy. You guys know the story. This is the market today. It's been a great one, Brendan.
Yeah, it starts, getting in the mindset when we come into the morning of thinking about, not only stocks that are relatively strong or relatively weak, but also that have, that secondary catalyst. This one, obviously, with the catalyst on the positive side, related to the possibility of coming up with a vaccine. So once you start piecing those not 1, 2, or even 3 pieces together, gives you more, it gives you more evidence to want the long and be confident in the long once you get involved in it. So great job from Sean there. With trade of the day, Gilead for Monday. Let's go back to the guys.
Thanks a lot, Brennan. And, I mentioned before we were doing the trade of the day, we're talking about, bias. And I know I'm a little bit short bias. I'm not going to lie. We keep trying to break downside off that pre-market halt level. We dug in on the future, was just back to that 250. Cannot seem to hold it. Roll over on Boeing as well. If it goes, it is a tremendous amount of upside, but it just doesn't seem like we want to do it. And there goes 25.13. So, you can have all the risk to reward ratio you want, but if it doesn't go, when that 250 holds there or 2500 holds on the ES, you got to give up the ghost. And if you can't beat them, sometimes you do have to join them. I'm going to scalp a bit of a long here, reversing. And again, we'll see what happens if we can take out the high on the Q or the SPY of 2253. But we haven't broken through that 2520 top on the ES. So we'll try to reverse a little bit long there because we're still head short in Boeing, which hasn't broke up. That name, of course, sometimes a little bit weaker than the overall market.
Yeah, Boeing is a crazy one. And I hope you guys like that trade of the day. We're back. I mean, we're the hardest working guys here in
jumping up, jumping back.
Yeah, as we trade.
Interview in the middle of the day.
Back and forth, going crazy here. And let me check my script. Oh yeah, there is not one.
What script?
Here we go. Look, Apple, we get out as we go for our trade of the day there. Literally right at 11 o'clock. Get out at 250, 350. It does break that down. So right now, your boy is flat. So right now we fall in a hole because we don't have any trades on, but we have a great day so far. Nothing to complain about. You see the numbers at the bottom.
I'll give you frustration, Sean.
Sure, yeah.
Frustration for me was just getting stopped, and again, maybe not showing enough patience with the SPY trade, only to see Boeing roll over and the short start to work on that one. So it's sort of been one of those things where you're structuring the short trade. Thankfully, at least I do have the Boeing trade on. Kind of believe that if we rolled over, 2,500 couldn't hold. I still think there's an awesome opportunity. And I don't want to give up on it just yet because we did just fail at the top on the SPY, but how many times am I going to throw at it? All the longs worked going up, and then I basically give it all back trying to get the short, which I do believe still had the bigger upside in terms of structure of the trade. So all I have left is Boeing short 140.80 here. That's in the money, only $1 or so, looking to see if it can retest the lows. But without that rollover through 2,500, I just don't know that I see that happening. So I'm going to slide my stop from VWAP to 142, tighten it up just a little bit, and not get too stubborn. Because if we take the top off here at 2520, I mean, where's our next stop? At least 40 handles to that 2560 area, and that's a big move on a name like this.
Yeah. Now fan, yes, I agree. We need more subs. So hit that like button. Tell all your friends. Tell everybody there is about this show because look, we're trying to educate. We're giving you guys different trades. We've traded Europe today. We've traded NASDAQ stocks, Boeing, the
lot
market,
of necessity to be
SPYs,
honest.
Qs. Yeah. Normally we don't trade too many Europe names, but if you guys are, if you're looking for Europe, we're here. So let us know if there's anything you guys do want. But right now I have no positions. It's 11. We go till 12.
Yeah.
Smash that like button, guys.
And I know I was looking at that AYTU. We never actually engaged in the trade. There was the market started moving a little bit, but it did just break up towards that 140. So if you were shorting this one on those consolidations, just watch out a little bit in case it breaks that 140 price. I don't know that you want to hold too far past that. Boeing just touches down to that 139.50 again. So part of me saying is this is going to be a bit of a bottom. Why don't I take a few shares out at least around here if we can keep getting them? Because the futures are about to take off that 25.20 top and are moving to the upside. So I'm going to take not half of my position left in Boeing. The conviction, it's harder to have conviction when we keep taking these tops off here. So as much as this short's actually working, everything else is bouncing to the upside.
Yeah, Neil, we're trying, guys, to find some names for you. And I think we've done an absolutely bang-up job getting those to you guys
look at
today.
Costco.
Costco to the moon. There was no doubt about that. And I bet you Walmart is also to the moon right now, as well as a lot of traders fleeing.
XOM 37.
Yeah,
that's
oil,
up a couple of dollars.
Like crazy. Yeah, the fun continues here, guys. What's up, Brendan?
Guys, just reading a story in regards to China, Shanghai government saying that companies can return their workers to work without notifying authorities. So a lot of people returning to work, maybe that we're not hearing about when it comes to China as well, guys.
Okay.
I don't know. Is that good? I guess that's a good sign.
I mean,
the more guys go back.
There were unemployment numbers that were ugly coming out of China.
Yes.
I know we're going to have certainly. You're going to be watching economic data coming out of China because that's what people anticipate could be happening, here and in Europe coming up. So it's going to be a bit of a barometer there. So take it with a grain of salt, but also understand the market is going to react to some of that Chinese data. We haven't looked at a single one of these. I'm going to jump to Win in just a second here, but a bounce off the bottom. So the first sign of strength in some of the casino names here, bouncing off 60 with the future. So Win trying to make a move here through 62 as, Boeing, it's sort of a marching to the beat of its own drum, so I can be as confused as I want, but Boeing's back down to 139, so how this one holds in the money can be perplexing to some, but we picked it for relative weakness, and it's the only short that's working out for me right now with everything else we gave back, looking to short the overall market after being long all the way upside until we got to that 2,500 and then retested that overnight halt band.
Yeah, and we just, we sometimes we kid about what are you going to do, but some of these stocks, guys, remember, have your risk spots ready to go, right? I mean, if you're long something, have a stop order out there, be able to figure that out. There's lots of trading opportunities. Do not make a big mistake right now because we're only at 11:15, 11:12 here. So there are going to be opportunities as the day goes on here to continue to trade. So do not, think that you've missed the boat on some of these trades. There's going to be a lot more. Check our stats below. You see the names that we're doing. Also, we have the ticker across the bottom. I see Boeing there, Caterpillar. These are key names, guys, that we want you to focus on as traders and that we're focusing on as well. So it's not just a bare slate of names at the bottom. These are names that are moving and with good reason. So take a look at that and make sure to join us in the chat.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll jump to, we have Brendan for a quick second, then I'll talk a little Uber.
Obviously, so much to look at today, guys. This one we mentioned in the pre-market at 9 o'clock, OPGN, now 130% to the upside. Had a secondary move here from 3 all the way up to 6, or 5.5 at least. We're consolidating here just about 450. If you go to the daily chart, this wick, the last time we got up here was exactly 450. So OPGN kind of holding above prior resistance right now as support, guys.
Thank you very much there, Brendan. OPGN, definitely a name.
I'm looking at Softy.
And, as I keep talking about Boeing banging to the beat of its own drum, but we get up towards 25.30 on the ES, and Boeing basically holds here. So, we'll work back into the same shares we have, a little tighter to our stop. We moved it down to that 142, so we can have a little bit less risk in front of that number in case we do get that flush. So that's the only position I have on right now, and I was just sort of saying I was going to talk about a little Uber, so we'll slide down here, and again, this was a name that was down well over that 10%. You can see it bouncing to the upside there, holding 20 even pretty well. Now at the top end of its range, so this one could be breaking through that 21. I'm alerting that 25.60 area on the ES. That looks like it's going to be a bit key, and we just got towards 2,500 on the NQ. Basically teetering above. We ticked above and then came right back in. So another key level that we've hit to the upside. It's all about the overnight halt level, I think now. 75.50 on the NQ, and we talked about 24.60, 25.60.
What was it? Yeah. Now the levels are just like jumbling.
Yeah, they're just all over the place. We take that one out upside to the moon.
Yeah, we're gonna wait here on Softy right now, breaking this new high of 147.70 or 80. We're gonna get long in Microsoft when that does come through. Hoping that happens right now for us. And so right now, Microsoft is the only position that I am currently looking at, and it has to break. What price did I put in here? 90. So 147.90, kind of the high of the day here. We'll wait. I mean, might as well wait for 148. But Microsoft, those of you that watch the show for a while, this is my favorite stock, so we'll wait to see here. Microsoft to the upside breaking through 148 is when we'll like the long. Wow, Zoom up 7%.
Zoom up 7%, and they just took out the opening range top there at 113.50. So you get too far away from the relative strength names, and this was the only, I guess, tech-related relative strength name that we were sort of harping on the entire week. Most of these other names beaten up, and of course, the story would be if everyone's working from home, you see all these lockdowns coming through. Zoom obviously positioned pretty well there, so I feel like this one could be done, but you hop to the daily chart and you do have a quick look where we've come from, and unfortunately that's not loading properly. So we'll have a quick look at the 3, and we haven't gotten and held through that 114. Talked about this one last week. This 114 level on Zoom, it just can't seem to hold above it. So any sustenance above that level, maybe a break of that 2560 over in the ES could be the breakthrough long that Zoom's been looking for. Brennan, what do you got?
Another name having a really good day, guys. We've traded this one many times. FCell on the show here, 14% to the upside. Nice consolidation happening here. 125. If you're looking for a lower price kind of energy name, 125 is the clean energy name, though. Keep that in mind. 125 should be support. Nice little consolidation on FCell right now, guys.
Brendan, my friend, I have another question for him in a second. What about Square? Down 18%, Neil? Like, what was Square touched $44?
$44.
At some point, okay, we'll look at that. So. And the reason why I wanted to look at that one was because I'm a big PayPal supporter here, and that's held up quite well. You can see PayPal, unfortunately, again, look at these buys if you were able to buy some. $94, now ripping to 102, so PayPal's been a great safe haven, but not so much for Square. But I'm long Square now, 47.97 on a breakthrough 48. This seems like it's overdone, but I'm going to wait to see. I didn't see them on the upgrade downgrade board there, but maybe that is what was happening today. I don't know, but I guess with a lot of these businesses being shut down, it does make sense now that Square won't have as many customers.
No, I can buy that.
Yeah, going to like random little events and whatnot, and so that's where Square makes a lot of their money off some of these small businesses.
We're all the way at the top here in the futures. Just sort of worthwhile noting, at least to me here, that Starbucks has not approached that high. So I'm looking at this name here, unable to touch back up to that 63.80. So again, if the futures roll over, and again, that's a big if, as we're approaching 25.50 on the ES. But if they do, I think relative weakness in Starbucks. I think breakthrough at 62.40. If you look at this bottom level here, that could be a nice entry point. Maybe give it to the top. The only thing I have on, and I'll circle back to it, is that Boeing trade. That's the only short that I got left, after getting burned the rest of the way up, certainly in the futures. But Boeing is holding for the time being below that 142 mark. That's what I'm working with, 141.41 to the short side. But we're approaching rapidly to see if we can't break through the top. And I'm watching that Starbucks. If it can't go, fine. We're also looking at Zoom at that 114.
Yep. And you'll be surprised to know this, but we got softy right now, 147.90. So here it comes right to the upside here. We're going to see if it breaks through. I'm sitting at 20, and there it is. A quick little 30-40 cents right there on Microsoft. You see where we're long. I talked about liking that one through 147.80. That's where we're long. We take some out there at 20. So a nice little 40-cent win there on Microsoft to the upside. We're going to hold the rest of this one, guys. We're going to give this one to 147, but right now, Mr. Softy, see if we get some out at 148.50. Other than that, let's go upside on this name. Let's keep going here on Microsoft.
Pinterest breaking through 12. So breaking to the upside, this name as well. It was down 15%. This was down at 11.50. Now breaking through $12 as we march to the top there. So I don't know. I mean, that feels like a breakout miss, but the top end, $12.50. I mean, there's still room to go to the pre-market high on Pinterest if you want to jump into that one. Crazy moves all over the place, but one thing we got to do is stay in focus. This little segment that I know some of you really love. Let's kick it to Valeria at the big screen.
Thank you, Neil, and hello, everyone. Well, coronavirus keeps spreading. There are more than 156,000 cases all over the world, and there are almost 6,000 deaths. Top official of New York is calling for the city shutdown, saying on his Twitter that only essential services should remain open, with bars, restaurants, and movie theaters must shut down. Tokyo Olympic Games 2020 flame handover will be held behind closed doors amid coronavirus fears. Nike closing its stores all over the world starting today and through March 27th. The analysts expect more retailers to close their stores, otherwise they will face low demand. Amazon says that its household items, many of them are sold out, and also the company warned its customers for the slower delivery times due to high demand for online shopping. Also, guys, Donald Trump last week announced that he's banning all the flights from Europe to US, which created chaos at European airports this weekend as Americans rushed to leave back home. Well, guys, that's all for today, and stay in focus. Back to the traders.
And you know it's a big market to the upside when even Boeing goes through the moon. It tries to hold the bottom end. Look at that turnaround at 142. And again, this is why you have to. This is why you trade with a level, a line in the sand or a little something. You get stubborn with this one, and you turn a 60-cent loss into a $3 loss very, very quickly. So I'll stop out. That's the last short that I'm working with as the market does get to that 25.60. Brennan, what do you have for us?
Guys, Moderna here, a name we've been looking at over the past couple of weeks. mRNA just halted on the way back down. It's already been halted a couple of times this morning on volatility halts, in addition, obviously, to the market-wide halt. But mRNA, a name to look at. Also, Shanghai just coming out, or not Shanghai, I'm sorry, Malaysia just coming out saying that they are now going to start closing their borders and restricting movement internally, as well as schools, businesses, cafes, restaurants as well, guys.
Yeah, big shout out. Thank you, Carlos. I see Carlos from Bear Bull Trader, and this is
what up,
how
Carlos?
we do it.
What up, buddy?
Slap shots. What up, Carlos? I see you on Twitter all the time. Microsoft right now, take it for you live on the show. This is $1.06 in the money right now. We hit Microsoft going long, 147.95. We talked about that. I gave you that level when it was way below. It takes off the top. That's a winner. Oh, Sean, by the way, how is your Square doing? Oh, not bad. Thanks for asking. There's another bullish trade right there. That's 40 cents in the money, and we keep going up 40, 50 cents. Look at Square taking that long below 48 right now, 40, 50 cents. We're going to take out half of this one. And guess what, guys? Sirens about, man. These are not coronavirus sirens. These are cash register sirens.
Yeah, looks
Did
like
cash
we got
even make sirens? I don't know.
Got a halt in that mRNA there. So just going to quickly look over here. You had a volatility halt to the upside. It's now halted down. So you always watch for these ones. When they come in southbound, it can be rather ugly rather quickly for some of those long trades. So this one opens up, and it looks like we halted at 25.50. If it wants to open up below that, you had a halt level at 26 on the way up. Gives you a bit of a structure to the short trade if you're looking at that one. And it's not often that we need a third coffee. In my case, it's going to be the fourth.
These are espressos.
These are
Thank
espressos,
you so much,
however.
Liz.
And look at this. It's a little tricky to hold. I don't want to spill
like these
it
days.
there.
I know. It feels like we're in one of those. What's the one where the guy? Benjamin Button.
Am I supposed to put my finger up like this?
There you go. I know. It looks really good on you, though.
There you go. Either way, reloading. This one should
Whoa,
open
those
up.
are hot.
Volatility halt, but it's for 5 minutes
Thank
ago.
you,
so
Liz.
we could open up any second on that mRNA, and I'm looking at 25.50. If it opens lower, you're looking at 26, even as the previous halt price on the way up that you can work for risk purposes.
Excuse me. That was a hot little espresso there, and I like it, giving us a bolt of energy, although you may not think that we need one right now. But good weekend as we go. And if you think we have energy now, this is only Monday. Wait until we get going here. I don't even really like weekends other than, hey, shout out to my family. Love you guys. But we do love trading.
Love it.
As we get going.
We opens up above 25.50, but only barely on mRNA. So if it takes it out to the downside, then we'll look to engage in that trade if we can. Brennan, what do you got, buddy?
Another little gold company. My chart is not loading for some reason. There we go. That might work. AGI, guys, big move to the upside. Let's have a look here from 340 up to 4.5 in a straight line. Give you a pull back to 410 as well. This thing's come off from 7, though, all the way down to 3. So AGI, also a big mover in positive territory, guys.
Okay. AMD only down 2% now. There's another name for you right there. AGI. I mean, some of these insurance companies moving well as well. AGI, obviously AIG in the space as well. Wow. Apple 258. Okay, Microsoft. Okay, Square. Okay, I see you, baby. And there goes Square. We got that trade. trade. This trade right there, guys. Nice little 75-cent winner. We have this for you. There it is. Obviously, was wondering why Square was down 17-18% when we asked. I did talk about, wow, here goes Square. We're long 47.97, guys. Check it out below. There's Softy in the money, $1.32. Microsoft still making moves to the upside.
There goes Zoom
we can't lose.
through 114, continuing to the upside. We just broke 25.60, and of course that was the next leg to break. But I'm telling you, Zoom goes from a 15-cent spread to a 50-cent spread almost instantly there. That MRNA, it's looking like it's going to come back down just a little bit here. It did break back up above 26, so I was away from it for a bit. It was looking strong, but I still like 25.50 to break to the downside. That's when I would short this name. I'm not going to be shorting above. I need to see it sell off first before we jump in.
Right. And yeah, right now I'm not sure where the sell-off is going to come, but like we talked about numerous times, stop orders are a must, right? And so if you're trading in these markets without stop orders, I would not advise that. And right now for my Square, ho-hum, 85 plus pennies in the money. We may look
330 on
take
Netflix.
This off right now. Netflix is off as well. We are ready for Brendan. What's up?
Lots of things moving higher, guys. If you're looking for a little tiny resource company here, Antero Resources AR in New York up 3.5% here just right now, breaking out of this tight little consolidation. Had a nice move from 104 to 124, now breaking that 124 to the upside, guys. AR if you're looking for a lower priced one, guys.
Okay.
AR worth a look there. And as I see some consolidation possibly happening in this MRNA, maybe it's going to make a bit of a range for us. Again, if it fails to hold above 26, you're looking for a 25.50 break. If you wanted to fade this one, the tricky thing is where do you put your stop when you short this one? It's a little bit more clear when it takes out the lower band where your stop is going to be, or where at least you know you're wrong. So that's why I have a stop to get short. If we can't get in on that, sometimes crossing down is tricky. We'll try to work our way into the trade. We got locate, so it's not like I'm paying anything to be able to go short that name. So order is in and ready to go there. Boeing, what a reversal. I mean, if you reverse long, and again, I don't like long in Boeing, and that's not the name that I would have played to the long side, but when the floodgates did open up through 142, it was instantly a $3 move to the upside. You do see that there. So if we sustain this, maybe there's a bit of a bottom. You can work off that 142 level on Boeing, which held so well through an entire market run. For like that last hour, so maybe 40 minutes, Boeing held 142, but when it broke, it was like a well breaking.
I'm sorry to report to some of our guests, but we only have a half hour left on the show. So follow us along on Twitter. You know, we got all these names. I'm going to quickly show you guys the positions that I have up here before we go to Brendan. Microsoft right now long 147.95, 50 cents in the money. Our Square position is just a cash register right now, $1.10 in the money. What's up, Mr. Wiggins?
So Dave & Buster's, guys, play on the NASDAQ is now $8, if you were wondering. This thing's come from 46 all the way down to $8 in a straight line. One that is definitely not bouncing today. 38%. They got a price target cut and a downgrade from Stifel this morning, but another one in that kind of travel and leisure group, right? Restaurants going to be included in this play under pressure still, guys.
And Valeria clarifying on the chat, you're absolutely right. The chat will still be live at 12. You'll not see our faces anymore, but you'll definitely see our words on the chat, and we'll still talk about what the market is doing. And right now I'm sort of looking at consolidation at the top here and trying to roll over, but I'm also looking at a potential, could it really break to the upside on MRNA, another move here? What I like about this, if it does try to take out this little leg at 26.50 and then fails to do so, that actually gives you a short trade that you can work inside of this range without 25.50 breaking. So I'm now looking to see if we get a failed break through 26.50, re-enter that dollar range. It gives you an opportunity to short inside of the range instead of waiting for a breakout through the bottom. Again, once you see these things make a top and get that first crazy move down, I then start looking for short trades on something like this, despite the fact that it's up 24% on the day.
Yeah, and our Square's coming right back in, as well as the market, obviously. I don't need to tell you guys here. The market is fading back down just a little bit here. So our Square was $1 in the money. We already took out half for 40 cents. We're going to see if it can now bounce back to the top side, but this may be a spot that we might try to get out here. 48.30. If it cracks down below there, we'll just capture our 40 cents and get out of that, because I can't just keep preaching stops and then not have one. So here we go, 48.30 on Square. May hit now. I feel bad, but this trade, look, unfortunately, we hold for bigger winners, and here comes rifling.
And of course, again, I mean, we remember the last time we were up at that 300 level. We talked about it at 325, the double top on Costco, and it just touched 300, basically. Right here, just touching it within a few pennies, and then turning right around. So if we if we hold on the future at 25.60, as much as Costco has been a name that we were only to the long side off the morning, this could turn into a possible opportunity on a short trade in front of 300. I mean, obviously we've come so far with the futures only being down 5%. Of course, we opened limit down 7, and we got further than that. So to come all the way back here, let's watch out 300 on Costco. And you mentioned Square. Zoom didn't give back anything on that move.
I'm not happy with Square.
It's still pressing towards its high. So that 114 break, now $3 if you're hanging on to that one. It's probably not the name I would look to fade into a short, however.
Yeah, I just averaged into more Square right there. And we're going to wait to see if this does break down below 48, I guess we'll use as our Square out. But we just average in more. So Square comes right back down. We were worried about keeping our profits, but we also turned greedy there. And we get more Square. What was the price? 40s. So we'll see here going upside now in Square. Let's see if we can capture a winner on this one as it's pulled right back. We'll still use our 48 as our out on this one, but Square right now making me a little bit nervous.
And I just sort of mentioned that mRNA breaking out of that little dollar range post-halt, and if it failed to get through that high and come back in, you can work it for a short because there's a bit of structure that you might have. So that's what we're going to do here. You talk about that 26.50 break, it comes back in. We work something, unfortunately, not till 26.14, and then I want to be an adder here where it breaks 26. But keep in mind, the floodgates are not open until 25.50. This is where you want to build your, and here it comes. Wasn't able to add at all. 26.14, it's already headed down towards that 25.50. Not taking anything off till it breaks it. Brennan, what do you got?
Another one moving to the upside, guys. Workday, a nice look here for Workday. Still down negative on the day, 5.5%. But look at the move from 116 to 130. They announced their board has approved the equivalent of a 2-week paid bonus for every employee in the entire company. So Workday, guys.
I'm sorry.
Workday, yeah.
Workday,
yeah.
okay. Workday. W Day, of course, about to break that 25.50.
Company to work
and
for.
There it goes. We're going to try to add to this one on that 25.50 break. We got 26.14. It doesn't, we just slide in some shares there. So 25.87 our average price. Already have some target shares out at the bottom here. 25.12 we're able to get. So, call me stubborn. We've been trying to manage risk shorting after getting away from longs. Finally, something works out, and it's going to jump back to those coronavirus names, which we've seen when they pull back in what it looks like. So this is what we're trying to take advantage of. Look, we could probably at least get back to that opening range bottom, 23.82. That would give you a couple of dollars to work with in terms of profits, but you want to make sure you're not staring that gift horse in the mouth a little too long there, so I'll take some more out there at 24.87. Finally working someone to the short side. I mean, I'm telling you, I got stubborn with the futures. I got stubborn with Boeing a little bit there. But this one, at least working out here, mRNA to the south side. 25.69 was our last entry. We started this one at 26.14. Impossible to get shares at 26 even. Almost impossible to get anything at 25.50. When these things open up, liquidity in this market is a little bit tricky, especially when you're trying to punch short in a name that doesn't.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it. Yeah, I'd say it's pretty tricky for sure. Okay, guys, just to let you in on a little bit here, Square has this big seller now on the side. Oh, and there you go. He just was disappeared. Brought this thing back down, so we did get some out there on our 48.25 trigger. We talked that would be a trigger for us, so we did get out there. I guess printing 21s or 22s. Our next stop is going to be 48 even. We still are long Square. We took some more shares, so we're going to see, man. I mean, we could have a loser here. This is what happens every once in a while. We're not going to give back everything we made on Square, but we'll go back to about flat if it does break through 47 here. So just giving you guys a heads up on that one.
Absolutely. And we did get a second leg out there on a 25 break, so 24.85. Average price was, that's going to give us over a dollar winner on our average price, about $1.50. But in this if it consolidates lower than this 25.50 area that we're already short, it could give me a re-entry price into the short position here on a retake of that 25 even. We got 25.70. That was our last leg that we added in. So we're going to hang on to these ones for dear life, as we might be rolling over in the futures, which that could go mixed for this position, because sometimes you get that inverse relationship. And in some ways with these coronavirus related names, you almost want the market going up when you're short them. As weird as that seems. So, now that we're coming back in, finally rolling over in Boeing, for crying out loud, through 140. And again, these things are going to happen to you. So I only have on the short position in mRNA. That one sits about 70 pennies in the money with our second entry.
Yeah, our Square just drops off there, so we will Oh, you know what? I'm going to put square in the gates of hell right now. Again, down 70%. I don't think we ever really found out exactly what was going on with it, but I do think the logic makes sense there. Square going to lose a bit of business now with everything happening. So
it makes sense.
that makes sense to me. And there we go. We drop it down, and sort of good thing we got out there and there. This is right back to where we initially got in. So no profits. Only profit really is on this first trade. We dropped square off, and we're down small. You can probably see that there as we go. But
the only key level all morning that I didn't defend to the short side was 256, 25.60 on the ES. Every other one, I tried to short, held into it, and got stopped out. This is the one. And you talk about conviction. If you come in with a bias, it hits your next level. You just got to jump in and go ahead and do it. And we don't do it this time. And you see what happens here. This is the flush. That's the biggest one that we've had in the ES, as we're back down about $3 on the SPY. Looks like we're possibly rolling over for the first time, at least significantly. Brendan, what do you got for it?
Designer brands, one unusually weak at this point. Seeing a lot of the retailers bounce right now, but this one, 42.8%. They make shoes. They have a whole bunch of shoe brands, all the way down to $6 on DBI, guys, in the straight line. No bounce whatsoever for that one, guys.
Here's what my kids are doing right now, and they're just chilling out.
Enjoying the weather, man.
Yeah, they're enjoying the weather.
Not bad
Good thing you got your helmets on there, guys, and you can see one's a cat and one I think is like a dinosaur or so, but they're scooting away. So there we go, guys. Enjoy it. Our kids are off school now as well, so there you go. Get your vitamin D.
If there is one thing that's been positive about this, is like when I went outside, and went for a walk when beautiful weather for us, I saw everyone on the street. They're out, they're doing spring cleaning, getting fresh air. So maybe this is not necessarily. There's always a silver lining somewhere. But back into trading, I'm going to slide my stop here in mRNA, and I know we still have some shares on. But when you look at this little previous bottom, 25.50, we'll go break even. We got 70 short. We'll go break even on those to make sure we don't turn a winning trade into a losing trade.
Right.
Already was a nice little flush we're able to take advantage of. If it manages to hold and not stop us out, I think we can add on a 25 even break. So it's about to test our stop. If it doesn't stop us out, I think we can be adding on a 25 break and get a big time flush through. But it's been about a couple of minutes here since Europe closed, at least almost all of European markets. So
daylight savings.
We're back into the normal time for us when it closed 11:35. Let's go over to Liz at the big screen and get a review.
Hi guys, so just as a Europe update, we have the board still pretty negative all across. We have London down by 4.73%. We have Germany down by about almost 4%. We have France down by about 4.85%. Italy down by about 4%. And Spain down by 7.3%. In the news right now, Renault announced that they'll be closing all their Spain factories while their France factories will remain open. And Air France announced that they will be grounding their entire Airbus fleet. That's it for the Europe update. Back to the desk.
At least I'm consistently wrong. So another week we still have of Europe being closed for another hour there. So you do have that going to be coming up at a bounce there in the future off of what? The halt level overnight.
Guys, look at this one. We take the Qs long right now. We got an idea right there. I just took this less than a minute ago. These are minute charts. So Qs 182.94 and right away in the money 70 cents. So there you go. Hopefully you guys obviously didn't have it. There, it's right in my face. There you go, guys. Nice little winner. We're long 183.06 here on the Qs. Looking to get out right now. We'll take a quick 60 pennies. That's how you scalp, guys. Let's go.
Yeah, just looking at finally participating in that little bounce to the downside as the market makes a bounce. But Zoom finally comes in off 118. Yeah. So it was 14.4 clean dollars to the upside. If we roll over again, you're probably looking at a 115 retracement. But like I said, mRNA is the short that I'm working with, finally getting into this name, 14 million in shares. It does test that breakthrough price at 25.70. We're able to get a few shares in when it slowed down. It fails, so I'm looking at possibly 25 getting taken out again. That would give us a possible re-entry into the trade. We're already short. We'd add to our position on a 25 break if we can get it. If this one wants to keep going, you're talking probably 24, and then the pre-market top was down at 24, like I said, 24 even, so I want to work it out in front of that. Right now, it's basically flat. We got to stop here at 25.70. We're adding a 25 even if it breaks down.
I like that, Eric. Invest in rest. I think that makes a lot of sense.
I like that one.
Make sure that you're healthy.
Make it a motto. Tweet that one out.
Make sure your kids are healthy, and that's about it. And keep washing your hands. We have actually don't have anything right here with Lysol wipes and whatnot, but on my desk, there it is.
We got them at the desk.
The Q's goes, and there it is. The only trade we made on the NASDAQ 100 today is a ho-hum, a 70-cent winner right there. It's not Batman weed, but there we go. We make that money, and the Q's, once again, we smile on this stock. Another name that I haven't traded yet today. We beat up stocks today. We'll take out Q's right now. Great little 70-cent winner. But now we bring it to the point of the day where it's 11:40, and we do this every single day. It's called the wrap. I don't know if we missed any symbols today, Neil, but we will find out. That's a joke.
We always missed it. We always miss like a million of them. That's
40
how it
or
is.
50 of them probably today.
Only so many eyes.
Let's throw it over, Brendan. Let's start the wrap, buddy.
Yeah, about that time, we'll get things wrapped up for a Monday. Very interesting one. Obviously, still in negative territory across the board here for North American markets. Well off the lows, though. We had 9% at one point for most of these markets. 6% right now for the S&P. 5.8% for the Dow, the NASDAQ the same. Here in Toronto, the TSX, 6.2% in negative territory. Look at Brazil. What a turnaround. They were down about 12% at one point. Now 5%. Bitcoin still in negative territory. Our crude oil and gold quotes seem to be not working. Going to have to check those out. But let's jump into some individual names here. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. During this period of the show, we kind of go back over some of the names that we might have mentioned between 9 o'clock and 9:30 and discuss why or why not we traded them, maybe some of the levels that we were looking at, and if they came into play or not. We were mentioning Apple this morning in the pre-market. Apple coming out saying they will close retail stores for the next 2 weeks, but does not include 42 branded stores in China. So everywhere else, Apple Store is going to be shut down for the next couple of weeks. That was the news on Apple today. Still, one of the weaker ones, guys, still down 7.25% here, as we're seeing, a lot of other names kind of go positive at this point throughout the session. But this thing, ever since the reopen, obviously the halt, the little space here, ever since the reopen, this thing has just been going straight to the upside.
Yeah, I mean, the market's been coming up, and you talked about the relative weakness overall percentage-wise, but it is still following the broad market, despite the fact, and actually as I look now, we're rolling over just a little bit here. So we tried to test back up to that 25.60, and in Apple, if that move happens, it just sort of gives you this interesting opportunity right here at about, it looks like 255.50 or so. If we slide back down below 2,500, there's some names that you want to play to the south side, and again, I've been bias short the entire morning, somewhat to my demise, at least a little bit on the future. But Apple could be one here at 255, or you can just express the trade directly. Overall, there's not too much of a difference these days whether you jump into the SPY or the Qs or jump into Apple, to be honest with you.
Yep, no, and that's a good one there. And yeah, Apple right now heading to the downside. We only traded it once and destroyed it. It's actually one of my top equity stock. It is my top equity stock today is Apple. We took a decent amount of shares here on the early break at 10:30. Then it's kind of been moving, like Neil said. Look, some of these D prints, we calculate all the prints here on our chart. So if you see some dark pool prints to the downside, shout out to it's Airplane Jane, Neil. The dark prints here, we'll see if they mean anything. Down to the downside, 241 there. But yeah, Apple's been great, Brendan, but like you mentioned, not following the market as well, I think, as some of those other ones on the rebound. I think Neil's right, probably on the downside.
It'll follow just along nicely.
Even more so. Trade Apple short if you like it, guys.
All right, guys, some of the travel and leisure stocks, on the other hand, have been kind of leading this move back to the upside today. I mentioned Norwegian a couple of times, Royal Caribbean also a big rip back to the upside. I want to talk about American Airlines. So airlines obviously under pressure because of the coronavirus outbreak. They came out and said due to the collapse in demand that they are seeing, they're going to cancel 75% of their international flights scheduled through to May 6th. That was the news on AAL this morning. If you go to the chart here, you can see we did get a bit of a flush out on the reopen, but it held 12 here, guys, and now we're trading almost at 14.
Yeah, I mean, although we just ticked back below 14 as the futures come down here. And another name, you looked at Apple. If this breaks about 13.69 to the downside, that could be an interesting short off using the top as your stop if you like that structure. And again, you just want to have some ideas in both directions here. I know the market's been coming up, but if we roll over here, you kind of like the airlines that have been bouncing and only down 4%. They could definitely have a secondary flush. So watch this nice little range it's making.
But if you are going to go short, UAL, Brendan, down
much weaker,
15%. So AAL in the single digits still.
I almost like shorting the one that's over
stronger a bit. Yeah, maybe. So we're going to wait to see here. UAL, though, I just want to bring that up for our viewers. Don't sleep on something like this. This did get as low today as 30. We're all the way at 35 and still down 15%. So this one looking weaker and weaker here. Probably more travel bans to come. I don't know where else they could ban from, but right now United not looking strong.
All right, guys, Disney, we mentioned in the pre-market as well. If you joined us between 9 and 9:30, we talk about, again, all the stocks that are moving around in the pre-market. Disney was one of those. A bit of disappointment as far as price action today, although the range that Disney has traveled was definitely tradable. They came out and said that they will make Frozen 2 available on Disney Plus streaming platforms 3 months ahead of schedule coming up tomorrow. So a bit of a negative look here still for Disney. But I mean, guys, this is $90 down here and $98.50 at the top. So big time range for Disney today.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, this is a story of like how you have to risk manage sometimes.
I'm going short.
Came in with a bit of a short bias in this name, so we did jump in on the initial push, and when we faded through 94, we took it back on the way down. It failed at VWAP at 92, so as much as we were able to take a nice win off of that one, you don't get too stubborn. You have to walk away, and if we hang on to this one short, you're going to get absolutely burned. So you hit that stop. It's looking like we are rolling back over here, and I did jump into that AAL trade to the south side when it took 1370 that we just talked about. So working that short as we're headed back down towards 2500. So we have MRNA to the short side, took some of that off at 25 even, and then we'll look to get back in front of that 2570 stop.
Yeah, right here, 94.87 right here is where we're going to try to touch 94.75 or so. Disney, if it breaks down below here, I'm going to go short. I just tried to punch short right when you said that, Brendan, but look where we were, 95.75, and we just literally dropped 75 cents. So if Disney can break, it's a 3-minute VWAP. This is just a 1-minute chart, but I do like 94.85 or so to the downside on Disney. We'll take that if it comes, and it may come sooner rather than later. Don't know if we get back down to 90, but look, this market will probably roll back over, guys. I don't know why this market would stay strong, to be honest with you.
All right, guys, if you're looking in the pre-market at anything that was gapping to the downside, you for sure saw Mallinckrodt. MNK was among the biggest gappers to the downside when I sat down this morning. They were ordered by a Washington, D.C. court to pay $650 million to settle a lawsuit filed by some of their shareholders and also customers with regards to rebates or refunds on one of their products. So still 23% here for MNK. I was kind of watching this thing for an opportunity to short it, but never really amounted to anything. We're kind of just consolidating here around this 235 area.
That being said, I mean, you are seeing a consolidation low. If you're looking for an opportunity to short, you can then use these recent highs. And I think when things are fading back in, that's not the worst play in the world. At least the structure is good. You got some risk levels you can work off with. So I wouldn't necessarily sleep on that there, Brendan. But for me, I just added back in, and I might slide my stop again in mRNAs. We're building that short, but also that American Airlines. I tried to get more shares there. I just want to quickly jump over. Yeah, once again, you see these little flushes to the downside, and liquidity is tricky, and you try to punch in some more shares. We got 64 as the first time. We tried to catch a little more as it started to slide down. Look, it is what it is. You're going to miss sometimes here. We do have the 1364 short. The futures are holding above 2,500. I do think if you like MNK there, just use those the high of the day. Use that previous level that we just looked at in the chart as a bit of a base, and it's a tight stop. It's a $2 name, not a lot of risk, but it could come back in at least 10%.
A lot of levels there to look at. That's for sure. And yeah, look. I mean, let's be very honest. This is the downside here of having my wife on this chat. I do not own any leopard pants.
I didn't bring it up. I saw it there. I didn't say a word.
I'm bringing it up.
Okay.
Because
I didn't say a word. It wasn't me.
Yeah, funny guys here. But no, yeah, maybe I do. Maybe I don't. We'll see. Maybe
there's
underwear. I don't know.
There's nothing wrong with leopard pants. I'm not going to judge anybody for their personal choices.
Yeah, we will. We'll get back on that leopard pant. Maybe I will or not wear something maybe I do or do not own tomorrow. We'll see here. Disney. I did go short there. We just take take more short. We get short there, 95.10. Now we're blowing to the downside, 94.84. We just got in as well. So here we go. Let's rock and roll this one. We are short Disney here, 94.90. Let's go, guys.
All right, guys, the next one, we'll shift over to some of the virus stocks and discuss some of the virus stocks that we're looking at in the pre-market. OPGN was one of those. It was among the lead gainers in the pre-market after the company said it was going to launch a real-time testing kit. So that was kind of the first company to come out with something that can be done relatively quick. Up to this point, tests have been taking, if not days, at least weeks in length to come up with results. Now, when they say real time, they were referring to hours, apparently, not kind of instantly in your hand. But OPGN was the big kind of virus-related name here this morning. Gave you a secondary push on the long side. That was pretty impressive here, guys, from $3 up to $5.80.
Yeah, I mean, usually what you're looking for the south side trade here is for it to fail at a key level. It gave you a bit of a flush, but not the big one off of the open. Usually you're waiting for that halt to the upside, which it did give. There was a nice breakout through $4. Well, the market, quite frankly, at 10:30 was giving you big opportunities in some of the bigger cap names. But since then, you are seeing that nice slide back in. Watch that $4 level in the afternoon. If that does not hold, you're probably looking at a retrace of that bottom at 3. So I'm likely to have a stop ready to go in case that does happen. I do love those afternoon fades in these names. So watch very closely for the $5 level. If it fails, at that lower high, that's a good short. If it breaks 4 even, I think that's a good short as well. I don't love it as much in the middle of the range, however, despite the 30 million shares. I think it's easy to get chopped up.
Yeah, we're also having a little bit of a fun time here. Disney back to the upside here, so we'll watch what these futures want to do. And here's what we're talking about. The ES bouncing off that 25.10 level there. We were hoping that we got to this 2,500, which is kind of this chop down here. We'll wait to see. We're going to drop Disney if it breaks above 95.75. That's the only risk spot that we have on right now.
Ain't gonna be no animal prints with me, guys. If you're asking over there in the chat, it's probably not going to happen. It is what it is. I mean, honestly, we have about 10 minutes to go here. I know, Brandon, a few more names, and I see one on the screen there that we had a quick look at, Oxy.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some stocks, guys. We mentioned obviously the move in crude oil back above 30, and then we retook 30 and a half. Not sure where it is at the moment, but trending to the upside regardless for crude oil. Yeah, I mean, we can have a look at Oxy here. I just wanted to compare, still 9.5% to the downside for Oxy. If I flip over to Whiting, have a look at WLL, 7.6% in positive territory. So Oxy definitely the weak one, but I mean, WLL, this daily chart is just pretty impressive to the downside as far as weakness goes, but a little bit stronger anyways.
I think one of the good thing about looking at Oxy and then looking at a Whiting is just everyone has different account levels, risk tolerance, whatever it might be, and something like a Whiting allows you maybe to express some trades that you wouldn't ordinarily. Maybe you can't jump into XOM, maybe you can't jump into Oxy, but you can probably afford to play around here at a nice bounce off of a couple of key levels, not just the $1 even, but you look at this 106 layer. You see a bottom get put in, and once you got that recovery sustained above 29 in oil, you look at a Whiting maybe coming back to the upside. These names are still under some pressure, obviously, as long as we're below that $34 mark when it comes to crude oil. But you're participating in the market bounce here. You look for those key levels. Once that held a second time, obviously it was off to the races and a little easier to express a trade in Whiting.
We also did hold. We didn't get out of our Disney there. It didn't go to our crushed level yet. So right now we're back to flat on Disney. Just want to give you guys an update.
Have a look at Starbucks. Valeria was very relieved when she came in this morning because she was still able to go into a Starbucks and get her coffee on the way in this morning, although you are not now allowed to stay in a Starbucks restaurant. So they pulled out all the tables and all the chairs. So you can go and get your coffee, but you got to leave right away. There are some other restrictions that they put into place as well. S-Bucks here, a big move to the downside today, 9.75%. Looks like it's kind of topping out here, guys, around the 64.
Yeah, 9 and a bit percent to the downside.
Look
here.
at the chop.
It's still trying to hold 58, guys. But yeah, you know what? This one didn't recover really as well. I don't mind the long on Starbucks, but again, can't believe it's $64. Like you mentioned, Brendan, some of those stores now, takeout only here in this country, and I'm sure in the States as well. I think in China, they're just starting to put back some of their stores. So really until China leads the way here, I think Starbucks probably always going to be fade some of these moves. If we do get above 64, which is basically the high of this move here, then that's when I'll like it. So I'm not going to touch Starbucks till we get back above $64.
Yeah, I hear you. I think overall in the futures here, some of these names, unless we retest and break some of those highs, you kind of feel like it's not worth it. We're looking like we're possibly going to roll over. There might be some better prices. And speaking of that rollover, I'll just update you with the only position we have left. We got stopped out. We tried that home run in mRNA, so we do take a win initially on the short. We load back in. That one will give up with that break-even stop at that 25.70 that we talked about. I may not be done with that name for the day, but at least that trade is now going to be out. We still do have that American Airlines, and finally we're able to add to that position on the 13.50 break. So we took some at 64. We tried several times to get back in. We don't add until 13.50. Now it's starting to work back to the downside. We're looking to take some off here in front of VWAP and 13 even. 57s is our average price. So now that we're 20 cents or so in the money on what we're trying to get, probably worth taking some profits here.
Only 5 minutes left, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Smash the like button, hit subscribe. We're back here tomorrow. But Brendan, any other names before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I want to mention one more here, guys. Clorox, a nice move today. We talked about JP Morgan. We talked about Procter & Gamble. Some of the staples acting, a little bit better than the rest of the market, obviously. 4.2% for CLX here. Look at the daily chart here. I mean, we're right back to these highs that we put in a few weeks ago for CLX. It did get an upgrade today as well from JP Morgan.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we talked a few names that you might look for that relative strength, and Clorox was definitely one of them. We talked about Procter, we talked about Costco. So ultimately, it's not that you have to guess and certainly right. All of those names ended up relatively strong and participated in this bounce to the upside in the market. So what I think the reason behind why you have these to the long side is that in case it's a weak market, the idea is that you should lose less.
Yep.
When they go wrong. Of course, when you catch the bounce, everything's going to move to the upside. So you'll feel like a sucker when there's some things that move more. I tend to look at it the other way around. Like when I'm picking shorts, the reason I had Boeing in there to get stubborn with my last short was simply because it was relatively weak towards the market. So if we did catch that bounce, I figured I would lose less, have an easier stop. That's the idea with the Clorox and the Costcos and the Walmarts.
Yeah, I mean, those are great little safe havens, and we did talk about that. I talked about, you guys saw the trade of the day, GILD. That's another name right now. The only position I have right now on board, and we'll throw it up so you guys can see it. I know you're seeing things at the bottom. Here we go. It's only Disney right now to the short side. This is all that I have on. We're short 94.84. Look, we're honest. This is an honest show. This is what we have. You can see on our charts all the ticks that Neil and I are making here. And here's where we've done on Disney. Short on that break right here, averaged in. Let's just wait to see what this does. But right now, we are short Disney, and I'm trying to give it about to 96-ish or so. So you will see me get out of that one if that does flash through. But right now, hoping for a Disney short. This is what we do on the show, guys.
All right, guys, we'll have a look at what's coming up after market tonight and before the open tomorrow in a second. But first, I want to have just a quick discussion heading into the afternoon on the overall market itself. As far as where we could go to the upside or maybe roll over, I think it's important to kind of have some targets laid out as far as maybe what could be resistance and what could be support in the overall market. I just brought up the NQ here as far as the futures, still down 5.7%. We are still going higher, but as far as this is where we ended on Friday, all the way up here at 79.50, almost got to 8,000. So as far as getting back to those levels might be a little bit of a stretch for today. What do you guys think as far as where we could go this afternoon?
I mean, we've been talking at least a little bit about some of those levels that we think are going to be key, and I've been putting up the SPY because that's where we're trading. But if you look at the ES, I'm zeroing in on what's been important, and that's been all last week. Those halt levels were interesting. I don't think it's a surprise that you're seeing consolidation right around that 25.13 area that you saw in the ES, which was that halt that sort of first halt level that we're dealing with. So as we consolidate here, I really do think if we can't hold above 2,500, I'd want to be shorting that one just because there's so much room to the downside. But if we take out that 2,560, again, you saw what happened on Friday.
You did.
When those levels go and hold up, it's a flush. You see those shorts really start to cover very rapidly. So again, I think you can almost bracket that range, and it's a 60 handle range that seems big, but it's really not in these markets. And if it breaks out, you're talking about 2-3x in either direction.
I just dumped a third of the Disney right here at 95.08. So our short there, we take 25 penny hit on a third of them. We're going to wait for the rest there. I was just nervous why this hasn't broke yet, considering what the market's doing. But like Neil just mentioned, guys, this level obviously super key. It's 2,500. As low as it goes, 24.92. We break that, and yeah, then I do think we could probably even see 2,400. I know that sounds silly, but straight down 100 handles is possible.
Yeah, 100% agree.
You know, so I would just say look out below.
Yeah.
If you're long, obviously you'll be celebrating that later on. It's easier, I think, to get long than it is to get short. Yeah. Check with your broker all of the borrows. Make sure that you can borrow some of these shares and some of these names that we're talking about. Thank you once again for all your feedback today. I'm losing my voice here. It's been a very, very busy day, and the fun continues with more guests tomorrow. Join us as this chat just keeps rolling. Valeria's dropping some of the links.
Absolutely. It'll keep going in just a minute
there
as we go.
All
I have left on in this consolidation is AAL, and you see here, it just broke a big offer at 13.40. I got 55 short. I'll take some off at break even, but I do want to hang on to this in case the futures can hold, guys. So it was just in the money, 20 cents. We took some profit. We'll only reload if it comes back down. I don't think I want to get too stubborn with this one, but 13.65 was our initial entry. That's where we'll take this one off. As you can see, it's just getting to that price now. There we go.
In this environment, obviously, earnings not going to be so important. Overall market moving around like crazy. But let's have a look at the earnings board here coming up tonight and before the open tomorrow.
I mean, look, it's not a heck of a lot to look at.
Will be bankrupt soon.
10-cent music, of course, if you want to be trading that. Certainly, you can look at the pink sheets. But you mentioned Michael's in a bit of trouble, probably.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these companies, some retail. I mean, I say Michael's going to be bankrupt, like Pier 1. Some of those spaces have just been a little bit of a nightmare. So MIK will be on the radar tomorrow. That is Michael's, but what a great show.
Yes.
We do have
the market's the story.
An internet, some kind of a not trade.
That's interesting.
Special day today. So let's go over to Valeria and see what day it is here.
I cheated. I know what it is.
Hey guys, our show is very close to the end, but I remind you that our live chat and trade will run till the market closure, so we can keep updating on news, talk about trades. Trump is going to talk around 3:30, so let's keep updated. And guys, thank you very much for your activity, for your comments. So nice talking to you. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe for our show. We'll see you tomorrow. And today is the National Panda Day. Do you know, guys, that adult panda can eat from 18 to 32 kilos of bamboo per day?
Yeah, I actually did know that it was something ridiculous like that. We did have some pandas here at the Toronto Zoo, so I think they might have gone back, but they were great. We saw them a couple times. Pandas are amazing, so
absolutely,
they're super cute.
And as we keep mentioning over and over again, we might be done here, but the chat is going to continue. Make sure you jump in. You see Valeria with the link that she has posted.
Yep, click that.
It's been a wild morning. We never got that 13. Some people were saying we get the 7 halt and then 13%. Did not happen. Bouncing right now, holding around the highs. What a crazy market it's been. What a crazy Monday it has been as well. For the entire team here, Valeria, Chat Maestro, Liz doing a fantastic job, our analyst, Brennan Wickens, as always, the consummate professional. As always, for myself, Neil Roberts, and Sean Katina. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is tradertv.live. We'll see you tomorrow.
Booyah.
Elbow bump.
Good job, Peter.